All right, let's try this again. It's time for the #1 Star Citizen Amazing Talk Show on Twitch every Friday night after 10 p.m. CDT. That's right, it's a SpaceBro show. And I think we're actually live now with tonight's special guest, Mr. Bernard. Also starring the amazing Toy Grubbin. And the man who likes to pick out all his favorite people on Twitch, Mr. Dr. Drones. And the tickler himself, the amazing man who hopefully brought most of you over here the second time around, Sergeant Tickles! All right, guys, let's get this thing started. Let's get started with the SpaceBro show. Let's try that. Let's try that. I'll just stay echoey all night. How about that?
I like it. I dig it.
You like
Do
it?
it.
Just dig with it. My
Just
gosh.
go with it, man.
I knew it was going wrong whenever I had a 4-person format set up, and then I accidentally saved over the 4-person scene, and I was like, "Well, crap. We either gotta go down to a 3 or a 5." And I was like, "Uber, you're gonna be on the show now." So is this the way he got? He got recruited that way.
I was hijacked.
He was hijacked,
Shanghaied, if you will.
Exactly. So it worked out. So now the cast
Speaking
got a
of
lot
Shanghai,
bigger.
there was this girl that I knew.
Oh,
this one
easy,
time.
easy, easy, easy. We know where this is going.
Yep.
All right.
She was
Anyway.
great at baking pie.
Great at baking pie. All right.
Someone said bacon pie.
Bacon pie. He is the king of bacon up there.
See.
So, all right. So let's go around the room. We're gonna start with Sergeant Tickles because he just came hot off the stream. Brought all the people trying to bring him over and stuff, and then the show wasn't on. It was on. It wasn't on. It was just we've had some broadcast issues a little bit tonight, so hopefully it'll level itself out as it goes on. But Sergeant Tickles, how was your stream? How's your week been? Tell us about it.
It's been lovely, man. I can't complain too much. I have a shit ton of homework, but other than that,
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Good.
It's been a great week. And the stream was lovely. Just lovely.
Just lovely. Perfect. I like it when it's lovely. All right, let's go over. We'll go up over to Mr. Toy Grubbin, who's furiously trolling somebody somewhere in space or the internet. We know it. We know it. So, Toy, how have you been, buddy? What's been going on?
I've been good, real good.
Okay.
Been playing a lot of Star Marine, getting much better,
Yeah.
and
gotten
prototyping some
good
new
yet?
weapons. What's that?
Listen, but have you gotten good yet?
Oh yeah, I've gotten good. So
Oh, well, that's important.
prototyping some new weapons for CIG.
There you go. The disc gun. I'm waiting for
Oh
that.
my gosh, I had one of those when I was a
I
kid.
remember those.
Only
Yep.
if they can slice a man in half will I support this, because that would be badass. If you could like slice a nerd soldier in half with one shot, that would just.
Well, you
be,
know how I'm always yelling at my kids to get me coffee, get me
Yeah.
water, get me this.
Yeah.
Logan had the great idea, my oldest kid, to write different stuff on the discs and just shoot the discs at the kids. So I don't even have to yell at the kids anymore.
Just shoot him with the disc gun.
So the
That's
the,
it.
the whole
Right.
shock collar
That's it,
idea
yeah.
went out the window.
Well, you know, people complain.
Keeps them in the yard. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. All right. Let's go over and we'll talk to Mr. Uber Nerd as we complete our reverse rainbow. How have you been, sir?
I've been doing all right.
All right.
I've been having a good time playing No Man's Sky since they came
Yeah.
out with the No Man's Sky next patch. It's offered.
It looks really good. I have to admit, as much as I am so anti their company because all their flibbery over that, it looks really good. The vehicles look nice. Everything looks really fun over there.
Well, the vehicle they did an overhaul of all the graphics. All the vehicles and
Mhm.
spaceships look much nicer. The clouds. Oh my God, the clouds. Some of the vistas that you can get. You know, with
Looks
these
like they redid
puffy
the whole game.
clouds.
They
Yeah,
just basically
pretty much
redid the
did.
entire game. It's not the same game.
And the thing about it is that they haven't really increased the number of developers that their company has, but they've worked their butts off to make this game really what it was supposed to be in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so it is a lot of fun. And so yeah, I've been doing that, and is, I would say, probably 60-40 Star Citizen and No Man's Sky. So
Nice.
Yeah. Right on. Mr. Drones.
Hello, sir.
Yes, the supporter of the talking stick methodology that I saw you supporting on Twitter there, where they were talking about
Wait,
getting priority
which-
speaker and all those
Oh,
other
that
things.
thing,
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then I had to troll you immediately by saying you're a man of few
Of course
words
you
anyway. Oh, yes. But other
Yes,
than me
yes,
trolling you on social media, how has your week been? Have
It's
you been
great
good?
because other people troll me too. So it's not just
It's
you.
balanced
I get
in the force.
Trolled wherever I go.
Force.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mostly by chat, but it is what it is. No, I've had an amazing time. Had a great few streams this past week. It's been fun bouncing between Star Citizen and Space Engineers, building stuff and flying in space. And oddly, in Space Engineers, I've yet to go to space really. So stayed planet side mostly, but life goals.
Yep.
But then Star Citizen, been having fun doing that thing. So it's all been good. Been real good.
Excellent. It's good. Yeah, if we could get somebody to link up all the streamers, because we kind of didn't get all that done, because my moderators were asleep again. Oh wait, I don't have any. So I have friends with swords. I don't have moderators here. That's pretty much the way that works out. So we'll get everybody linked up though in chat and all that stuff.
friends with swords.
I do. I have friends with swords.
That's what I have too.
Yeah, I just
But
don't. I don't have real mods.
Moderators, they just are.
It's a hard life.
The work that moderators do for Skittles and bacon is quite amazing. No money, just Skittles and bacon.
Just Skittles and bacon.
Get a command
I've
for you.
worked
There
for
is
Skittles.
commands for it, but it's not updated. Who needs mods? You have frenemies. That's right. Excellent. All right. So this week in Star Citizen was really interesting. Actually, I thought it was pretty good. Really more. I was interested in the end of the week with Chris. It was pretty interesting. He answered a lot of questions directly and stuff. But we did have an overwhelming, decent week. There was fun gameplay. They actually snuck in a little interim patch that many people truly didn't appreciate as much as I did, because they didn't know what the hell was in it. Because they're like, well,
What are you
there's really
talking
nothing
about?
there.
They fixed grenades.
I know.
phenomenal.
I dubbed it the
Fucking
Mitachi
awesome.
patch. It's literally my patch.
The Mitachi patch? No, fuck you. That's the drones patch.
No, because I'm the
That
one.
is what I've been
cr-
begging for.
I've been crying about grenades and Star Marine and plain Star Marine
Oh.
more than anyone. You
whatever.
got to play it to count.
Whatever, man.
Whatever.
Yeah,
So,
bullshit.
I've been
got
waiting.
proof
for
of
my
Bullshit.
stream. Yeah.
I murdered everybody with the grenades last night.
Yeah.
Hey,
grenades
hey,
are good.
Mick, can I get one of your subs to show me your grenade emote in chat, please?
Sure. Let me find it here. It'd be. Oh, I don't
Hit
have.
me up,
I
chat.
don't have drones
Get at me.
wrecked in here. There, because this is the only thing you see when my grenades land. Perfect.
Here's
Think
my
so.
here's my grenade right there. Right there.
Absolutely.
Oh no,
This is-
wait.
No,
that's
but
the
it
only
really,
grenade.
a lot of people who don't play, in all seriousness, a lot of people who don't play Star Marine really didn't know like what the patch was. And I would say maybe they need to do a little better on their patch notes, because they just really did rehash like a shit ton of the same stuff, and then just like threw, oh yeah, by the way, we changed grenades, and like one or two other little tiny items in there, I think.
So
But,
so basically, in the patch notes where we fix stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
yeah,
The patch notes were all of the same from 3.2.1F.
and they added one
They
line.
were those patch notes.
Yeah, they
But
added.
yeah, but it stands one line.
They added one line, and I was like, it's just silly, because you're supposed to show some sort of change log of what you change in patch notes.
Actually,
people can see
probably
that.
would have been better if they had just put in there, we fix stuff. You're welcome. And just
Yes,
left it at
yes, that probably would have been better because it really, I think it confused people because people thought it was an error. They thought there should have been different patch notes. They didn't know, and that was the only downside to it. But the grenades, I think, are working pretty damn good. Pretty happy with them right now.
They're pretty damned on point.
Yeah.
Now,
I
how about
tested the hell out
the,
of
you
them.
know, do they still have, and does it still work well, if you aim below the horizon?
That never
line,
worked well,
toss
but it does
and-
work.
Okay.
It works.
So that's the
Good.
thing that I was always wondering about, because, you know, I'd be looking down and I'd
Yeah.
throw overhand. And I'm like,
Well,
no,
the
the
challenge with that mechanic is the way it's intentionally set up to be, where if you look below the horizon, you go underhand. That's all fine and good until you become at an elevated state and you're trying to throw a grenade at a lower state. For example, like
Yep.
stairwells, because you have to look down to look down a stairwell, and then you can't throw it down the stairs. You have to throw it under, and then it doesn't. Yeah, it's really bad. So it makes sense if you were all on a flat plane throwing grenades, but anytime you start to add levels, it starts to get really bad. So that's the only thing they didn't compensate for that mechanic. So is it working as they intended it? I believe it is. I believe when you look below the horizon, you do get an underhand throw. When you look above the horizon, you get an overhand throw. But is it working for them having a multi-level map? No. But that was always the problem before, too. So they've got it back almost to 2.6 quality. They're doing good. They're doing good. So we've unfucked things. But calling all devs, we'll dive into that to start with. They had some questions in here. I think there was only one that was really super relevant to me, but I know a lot of people want to hear about some of the opinions on some of these things. They talked about changes to the 600i was the first thing that they brought up. And I believe Tickles, don't you have a 600i, don't you?
Yeah, one or two.
You have one or two of those?
too.
Yeah. So, as far as the changes to 600i, did you hear about the changes they were talking about in past?
Yeah, I watched it. Small things.
Yeah. What
Nothing
do you
crazy.
think about them? Was there anything that was earth shattering to you, or was it just kind of like quality of life?
No, there was
tweaks?
no earth-shattering stuff.
Yeah.
Some stuff I agreed with. The landing gear is atrocious. For a
Yeah.
ship that's supposed to be designed about beauty and elegance, the landing gear is the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
On a
I think it was an afterthought, to be honest. It's like they made this beautiful ship with all these beautiful lines, and it's like, oh shit,
How are
it's
we gonna
gotta
land this egg?
How are we gonna land this thing? Right? Yeah, it's like this. I don't know. I really, I wish they would have made it a hover one.
Fact.
Like, why don't they make them like actually like a gravlev landing like they do on the bikes where it just hovers? Like,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
do we
you
have to have
imagine a
gear on
600i
everything?
out of control?
600i.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Make that hover mode working, though.
I mean, if you think
I
about it,
love
it
it.
would compress. It would do everything you want it to do, and it just kind of hovers. I mean, that's what
Yeah,
Not a bad
and
idea.
The elevator that comes down to pick you up just hovers down as a disc.
yeah, that's
Comes
what
down
I
to the
do.
bottom,
That'd be even cooler.
and
Yeah.
then goes no arms coming down.
Yeah, the
always-
arms are awkward on that. I love the elevator on that ship, but I don't love the arms that come down like
I think
two
the arms
stabbing
shouldn't come down. I
toothpicks.
think it
are
should be
like-
like a hovering
I do
platform.
too.
with You should see a little blue,
Yep.
you know, a little blue light below it, and you know,
Sure.
Yeah.
because you're right, Tickles. It takes away from the entire lines of the ship. I think it's like this just strapping these.
They got like wires hanging out and shit.
Yeah, I'm like,
You have this
Look.
beautifully elegant ship where they've paid so much attention on the inside, then on the outside they're like,
yeah.
there's your tripod.
It's like
I
somebody
don't know. What do you think
aftermarket
about
parts
the-
somebody put on their car over here in Kansas City. It's like they bought
what
a
did you
very
think
nice
about
car.
the crew amenities?
As far
on that
as you mean
Well,
the change
so
ups?
the Explorer version, which
Oh.
I thought was supposed to be like have a like private little rooms, because they kind of talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. You have one shared bunkhouse for 4 people. You have 2, not 1, 2 bathrooms back there.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
When is it?
The
that
touring
two
one,
people
the
are gonna
touring
be
one
taking
gets
a
all the
dump or a
separate
shower at the
rooms,
same
doesn't
time.
it?
It gets
Wait
additional
till
rooms.
Citizen Con Uber. You'll see. It's fine.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for that, I've said multiple times on my stream, I was like, we need to be able to like enclose these. I'm fine with the large area,
Yeah.
but if you could enclose each bed and have individual spank
Yeah.
tanks, it
Yeah.
would be way better.
Individual rooms.
'Cause-
That's what I was saying. So if you look at that whole area back there, if you were to have a
looks like a
door
steam room to me. It literally
Yeah,
looks
that's
like
what
I'm
it looks
going
like to
into
me,
some
too.
like really fancy gym and it's a steam room. It doesn't look like a
yeah,
bedroom.
The escape pod room is I think that whole area back there could be redesigned. I'm totally with
Yep.
you, but I don't think they're going to redesign it
No.
at this stage of the game.
No, they just need oak doors that slide down for your pods so you can have.
Yeah,
privacy
like
in
I
there.
said, just some sort of enclosure that, even if it was a false enclosure, so it's just a. I mean, I don't know how they would program it or whatever, but it's just like a tint that like that area like gets dark.
Yeah,
You know,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'm thinking like the Fifth Element bunks, like where they have the little door and just go shh, just knocks you out and you're good.
Yeah,
you get
maybe.
stuck in the refrigerator and it
Yeah.
like closes down to a separate level.
Yep. Absolutely.
auto wash.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the aesthetics are. I understand some of the aesthetic stuff and all that. Main thing, the biggest concern I have about the 600i, as far as ship, and maybe it's intended that way, is the fact the engines are so wussy on that ship.
Yeah.
Like you could shoot that thing 3 times with a Super Hornet and it's disabled, like instantly. Like the engines just get blown off the thing, and it's like, oh, this amazing ship that's so fast until you shoot it 3 times and then it falls apart. And I know it's not a combat ship.
Or God forbid you go in atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's not a combat ship. I get all that stuff, but with all these talk about them changing the flight model and everything, I'm scared for the 600i as far as electric.
I'm scared for all the big ships.
Every
Yeah.
ships.
Yeah, I'm like, good
But
luck.
actually, I'm not scared for it. I've wanted this for a long time. I know that you're not a big fan of it, but I want it because they can adjust. See, the beauty of this is that we're looking at thruster packs and movable, articulating thrusters and all that kind of stuff. 900 years in the future, so they can compensate for that. But what they should be is a big semi-maneuverable ship in space. Should be a brick coming down in atmosphere, meaning it becomes really vulnerable as you're going from space to landing. Your position, your place to be is not flying around all maneuverable in a gravity well. You're supposed to be like,
Think of
okay,
it
we're
like
going
a
down. We're
boat
coming
out
down
of
to the-
water.
We're coming
Yeah.
down for a landing,
Yeah.
But
Well, see, they've always wanted to slow this down. I mean, and they did once, and people freaked.
Yep.
They slowed all space combat down, and it's going to have to slow down because the way this works now, with the way dogfighting works now, is you in a gunner seat, you'll never be able to track somebody. They're just going too quick for a person.
If you set
to
it
track.
1-to-1, I could track somebody right now today. I know I can. If you set
If
the
the-
small
yeah.
fighter turrets, I could track somebody at the current speeds.
the
Before,
turrets-
no way. The current speeds, I could track somebody. But the
Yeah, I
fact
could
they
tra-
have
but
mechanical
the
based
turrets have to move at
Yeah.
a faster rate.
they have to move 1-to-1 for small anti-fighter turrets where it's like as fast as I can move my mouse, that's how fast it needs to move. And if I choose to move too fast and it blacks me out, that's my problem. You know what I mean? That's on the gunner to be able to do that. They don't need all these systems to mechanize it down to be like, hey, go slow you down. So you're like, there goes the guy, and he's like, zoom, he's gone. You're like, yeah, I'll catch up to him eventually. You might get 2 shots on his ass end, and he's out of range. They got to do something different with that.
I'm just glad that they're planning to work on it because,
Yeah.
like Matt, we talked before the show a little bit about the. I don't know how many people have noticed this or not, but your ship now tracks the target, not just your reticule.
Yeah.
Your whole effing ship will follow somebody. So
Yeah.
I was sitting at Olisar the other day and just looking at the pad, and Barrow was in like an Avenger or something. I targeted him, and he just happened to fly past in front of me. And I was talking to chat, didn't have my hands on the mouse, and all of a sudden my whole ship just goes like this.
It
I'm
just
like,
turns following him.
I'm like, can you fly back in front of me because I've not seen this, and it just it blew my mind.
It's
that the whole
it's literally
fucking
like
ship is now
it's like when your
auto-tracking.
dog sits in your kitchen and watches you carrying your steak from the grill.
Yeah.
to there. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just following. I'm not
Exactly.
doing anything. I'm just keeping honed in. They're targeting locked.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
weird.
ridiculous to me. I think that's silly. I don't like that at all. I don't like the idea of like my whole ship tracking things because I target it, especially on a ship that has gimbals.
Well,
maybe
let's
if you
just
target it,
say
your
that
gimbals
maybe,
would.
maybe if you have multiple tracking options, right? So
Yeah.
maybe one of the tracking options is that type.
That'd be
Right.
fine
Sure.
with me too. If you could set your system to
for
do that.
example, let's say, okay, everybody set their throttle to, we're going to go, 500
I
meters per
would like
second,
to see a
and
follow.
then like a follow, right?
Yeah.
So you can
Mhm.
follow whoever. You can set, one tracking is following. So
Yeah.
we want to
Sure.
go, we're going to fly through this. Okay, you guys, I'm going to set my Caterpillar to follow your ship, Mitt. You're in
Yeah.
a smaller ship and you're going to lead me through this area. I'm going to trust you because we're buds and we're friends. So I set my ship to follow, and then I go back and I start working on things while my ship follows.
Right.
I'd love to see that.
It has to be useless for combat, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. It can't be. I mean, it's got to be if he moves his ship too fast, it breaks the follow.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
work anymore, right?
Yeah, like if I
So-
get out of a certain range, like a tow rope, like we snapped in this invisible
Yeah.
line, or
Yeah.
something like that. I
yeah,
agree.
and if
I
you
like
QD,
those
it's
modes.
broken.
Yeah,
Stuff
Absolutely.
like that. Yeah.
I like
But
the
for
idea of
combat, it should
of
not
those
be.
aspects. I also like the idea of feature sets to where I have gimbals on my ship. I'm okay with guns tracking if I want to set my guns to, but if they're fixed weapons and you have that enabled for tracking hostile ships, I'm fine with that too. But you should be able to turn it off. I don't want to have my ship pivot every time I target something. It does that unless I want it to be that way.
That should be a feature of your turrets.
It should be a feature
yeah.
of your system command
Yeah.
in your ship,
That
like
should be
know.
you know how the nose of your
Mhm.
ship was following whoever you were targeting. Well,
Yeah.
that should be like target assist in a turret, and I could see that being really
Yeah.
good because sometimes with a mouse, especially,
Yeah.
you're going to find yourself flipping your your cord back and trying to get back in place.
Yeah.
And if you got that help, that target assist tracking,
I also think on a large
that'd
ship,
be
though, with turrets or gimbaled weapons, it would be really cool if you lock on a target. That guy's locking on you, even if he doesn't pivot, because you see every one of his guns go vroom and just like target at you. So I think that would just look badass. But I want it to be an
Yep.
option, not a hey, this is it. And the
Right,
same thing
right.
is like that would be considered semi-aggressive to AI and everything else. It's like, hey, you've got your guns on and you're literally targeting me. I want to be able to have easy weapon systems on off toggles on
But-
stuff, those type of things.
there's got to be if it's an aggressive move to target somebody, then there has to be multiple types of targeting.
Yeah.
One without weapons and one with weapons,
Yeah.
right? So you're targeting you've got your targeting computer that is your weapon-based targeting computer.
Yeah.
If that one locks on, then the other person's alerts them to, oh, you're being targeted.
Yeah.
But if I'm just, you could maybe it's we can call the other one a passive scan.
Well, I want
So-
power weapons up and down to be a feature. I want that to be because as you have a crew, these are stations people are going to operate, but it should also be something on my comm. If I'm the commander, I could do that. So if you go into
I think that's good.
if
too.
they're getting rid of armistice zones, you should be warning you're going into a peace bearing area. Power your weapons down. That's something the player has to do. You power them
Yes,
down,
I like
and
that.
then all the AI is like, okay, he's powered weapons down. But if I'm in the middle of that area when they don't have armistice anymore, and I boot my weapons up, and all these AI detect it, that police is going to be on my ass. They're going to be like, dude, you just powered up all your weapons, and you're in an area that doesn't allow that. So that's the cool
they'll
stuff.
say this is an armistice zone.
Well,
Power your weapons
because
down
otherwise,
immediately.
here's what I'll do if they don't do that. I have all my weapons on, and yeah, I'm in this armistice zone that's not really an armistice zone anymore, and I got a contract to kill Sergeant Tickles. I'll just, casually just be over there, train up all my guns. I got one shot. I know I'm going to die, but, I'm getting 3 million UEC for taking him out. Pop. I took I died, whatever, but it was worth it because of
You
the amount
must
of
have
payoff.
played Eve.
You know what I'm saying? Well, that's what I'm saying. This stuff would help prevent that because then it's a whole cycle of like I have to power up weapons and those things. I'm just thinking of you guys. I'm thinking of the protecting the Care Bears so that way people aren't just flying around guns hot in an area where you're not supposed to. That's it.
Yeah.
And I do want formations. People talking about formations, chat. I do want that, and I want that to be something that's skill based. But I want it to be where I can maintain distance. Do we have match speed command? I want to be able to maintain distance on the ship in front, just like what Uber's talking about. But if there's 10 or 20 of us, maintain distance from these people.
Well, think
Don't do
about
that.
this though. So you know how they have guide ships? They've talked about this before. Gosh, what was I watching? It was some it was some sci-fi movie where they were going through this portion of like a nebula, like this gaseous nebula area, right? And so they were going through that, and in order to get through there, you had to hire a local ship, and then they just basically would tow you through. You had to power down,
Yep.
otherwise it would attract all this stuff to you. So they towed them through this area because they had a different type of engine or something like that. The same kind of way, but not for the same reasons.
Well, you're gonna.
I'd like to see not powering your engines down, but basically being able to have a person lead others through maybe really dangerous.
There's
part of
gonna have
space
to
or-
be another way to lead people too. Anyway, when we get to some of these jump points, right? Because there's people that are going to
Yeah.
be like Pathfinder roles that go through and scout these things, and they're going to want to lead people. And if you don't know the proper way to guide it, you're going to get tossed out of it somewhere random in space, or you could be damaged, or all sorts of stuff. So we're going to have some sort of Pathfinder type guy. And while it might not be a tow rope, but he's going to have emanate a beacon or something for me to stay on him to know the proper path to get through things, so I don't get in trouble. So, yeah. Everybody in chat waiting for the rant. It's not happening. Not yet. Anyway.
So that covers the 600i.
That covers the one question so far. Yes.
Wait, what?
Next question's pretty easy, though. I mean, I think John Crew did a great explanation of why missiles don't work right now. Basically,
I'm just glad they addressed it.
I am too. Basically, the flight model of that is more borked than what the flight model for ships are. That's the easiest way to put it. And yeah, that's it. And it's
still funny to watch though.
It's ridiculous to watch. It's one of the for a first person seeing Star Citizen, seeing a torpedo fire at something or anything like that. It is
and
hilarious.
go through it and
They're
go
like,
around
what is
it
it
and
doing?
Or just dance around the hall.
What's it
Yep,
doing?
yep.
What's going on with that? Why doesn't it want to hit it? And I've actually, to be honest, I've trolled people. I'm like, yeah, it's deciding the weakest point on the ship. That's it's trying to find the soft spot.
That's a good one.
So it's trying to find the weak spot to hit. And it's like, oh, there it is. Boosh, mushroom
I
cloud.
took my Eclipse out, and I was fighting. There was somebody in. It was a Saber or a Hornet. And they were There was a Hornet. It was Super Hornet. And they were attacking me, and I couldn't dogfight them worth a damn in the Eclipse. I fired a torpedo at them, and they went boom, just pop. They were gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've found missiles are tending to kill, like, because if you launch 1 or 2 missiles at someone, it's useless. They'll bounce around on them or just totally miss them. But if you launch like all 20 Cutlass missiles or 24 Cutlass missiles, the person will actually die because of kinetic damage from the missiles.
Yeah, just hitting them, not actually exploding.
Because they'll dance around the hull doing kinetic damage, and it will blow them up.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't dodge all of this.
Yeah, I had something like that happen to me, where the same guy, I'm sure it was him, comes back. I'm flying around after, because he'd attacked me. I blew him up. Then he came back and fired all of his missiles at me.
Yeah.
And that got me. I was like, flares.
It's funny the workarounds we find for these things. Where it's like you were talking about the kinetic damage of missiles and stuff, Tickles. It's hilarious. Like, oh, well, the missiles won't work right, but the side effects of them will destroy you. That's,
Yeah, but if I fling 20 at the guy.
yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy. All right, so Rob answered a few questions here. He main question he was talking about was the filtering of travel destinations and basically the UI. And I thought this is kind of important too, because I already feel like on certain destos, especially with us running the SpaceBro battles promo, by the way, guys, if exclamation mark SBB in chat, if you want to participate tomorrow. We haven't had that many people sign up, so if we don't get enough, I might cancel it.
What?
So make sure you sign up for SpaceBro battles. You guys sign up every week. We delete the list. But one of the things I noticed with SpaceBro battles is when we get a bunch of icons later to somebody, you can't tell shit because there's this like, you have 100 people, you got 6 ships, all this stuff just looks like a big ball of icons, and that's only with 50 people, right? So one of the things they talked about in this question was the ability to filter quantum destinations or filter items on your HUD. So you have different looks, different scans, different things of that nature. So you could actually say, I just want to see all the truck stops, or I just want to see the asteroid belts, or I just want to see the planets or the moons. And I like that aspect. They said they are working on that, and he went even more robust into other filters and types that they were going to have out there. I think that this is something that they probably should address, hopefully, by 3.3, I hope, because there's going to be a lot more crap on your map. If you have everything,
Sure.
I don't know how you're going to tell where to travel to.
Is that a Dr. Seuss book?
Yes.
Hop on pop, crap
Hop
on your
pop,
map.
Crap on your map. Yep. Absolutely.
I'm not reading that book.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Not even my son asked me twice. I'm not doing it. No, so I don't know. What do you guys think about the filtering systems? I mean, do you think that just destinations? Do you think the overall HUD? Do you think there's something else that they should be addressing with the HUD relating to filterings and how it looks that would be important to do? Toy, what do you think? You haven't said anything yet.
I don't know. They need a lot of work on a lot of different things.
So
But
if we're talking about the, when you call up like little destination, like when you're trying to set a waypoint, right, to get to Quantum 2, I think that when you push B, that should only be local. Nothing distant should ever show up by just pushing B.
What
if
would you
you're
consider
in orbit
distant,
of a moon
though?
and you push the letter B, no, Olisar should not show up. Nothing should show up that's out of your local neighborhood. If you want to go to those places, get into the map. So if you want to go to, if you want to fly from, Crusader to Hurston, you have to go to the map for that. Otherwise, eventually, it'll crowd your, push the letter B, you're going to have blue, you're not going to be able to find crap.
Well, they kind of do that now, right? Because if you want to go...
I like the system that they talked about with, or you can check mark whatever.
Yeah.
And this is going to come up. Or let's say you have different buttons. Let's say you have H, J, K, and L, or whatever as your, you have H programmed to planetary points. So it knows if you're next to a planet or a moon. You have, J programmed as stations, stuff like, or, whatever. It'll give you options to keybind instead of just B bringing up everything.
Right. I like using B as a hotkey because everybody before was really upset about having to go to the Moby to set all destinations to do everything. That was kind of a pain.
Yeah, that was a pain in the ass.
Like you want to turn left,
just go to
it's
the
like
Moby
that.
just to set the filters, though. But once they're set in your local area, you don't have to keep going and changing.
Depends
I
if
think
you
it
have
should be
different things.
something like in Eve, you had the overview settings. I don't know if you remember playing with those, Mitt. But
yes, we had
getting the
overviews
perfect
loaded for
overview.
everything.
And then you had different tabs of overviews to show you different sets.
I like
of
the
things
idea
that
of
you made.
tabs, actually.
Yeah, tabs worked out really, really well in Eve.
Because it was like the overview, you would have all the plan stuff, but you could just go in, like if you hit in this case, you would hit your Alt key when you're looking at the interface and just be able to tab the different types of selections that way instead of having to go in and out of an interface every time. That would be good. That would be good. Because the problem you're going to run into is then it's about what scale. It's like I still like everything around Crusader, right around the planet that we have and the moons we have. I can hit B and look at that. But if you look at the fact you can't get to Levski without going to your Moby now, right? Because it's far enough away that you have to go set a desto and then you can look over and you can go that way because you can't even do that right now. So Hurston would be the same thing because it's even farther out. And
so would the truck stops.
At least the farther ones would. You'd probably have a closer one near you that within a certain range. I would like to be able to set that localized range because in different systems, different solar systems, there's going to be more and less relevant things right close to you. In a heavily populated one, you might want to have a smaller range. And in one that's a very barren area that might only have a couple moons or planets in it, might not have much life at all, and you just want to have all those. Because if you're in a jam and you need to get out of there real quick, hitting B, finding something and trying to get out of there is much better than, hey, let me go through my filters on my Moby Glass and filter to some planets. And that's not going to be practical.
So you know how we have the simple scanner in the game right now, and they were talking like right now the scanner scans in all directions, right? But they were talking about having a focused scanner, which would scan in more of a
directional.
Yes,
like a cone,
sounding
right?
more and more like Eve all the time, isn't it? Direct
Yeah,
So,
right.
like a cone that you could just
Mhm.
you know, and maybe you could choose how it you want to scan at what angle, you know, maybe a 20 degree,
Like a little bar
30
that
degree.
you'd slide to ping and see what degrees you want to
Yeah,
scan.
to see distance and everything.
No,
yeah.
you'd have to set the degrees. Okay, I want to
Yeah.
do an 8
Yep.
degree,
Yeah.
and you set that, and then you hit the scan.
And I want to scan at a set distance too. Would that be a thing on this?
Yeah,
as well?
so that way you don't scan too far. You can scan
No,
close,
well,
shallow.
no, I don't think so.
Because then you could actually scan down to see where somebody is, right? You could just point your ship, change your cone. Oh, I got them at 30 degrees
You couldn't
this
set
way.
you couldn't set a scan distance because you know
You
once the
couldn't
wave-
dampen your own
whatever
scanner?
the wave it is that it propagates out to do the scan is not going to be like it's energy. Once
Yeah.
it's gone, it's gone. But
You could
the
choose
returns-
dissipation length and say,
Well,
I got
no,
them.
you could
I got
choose
them at
energy
250,000 kilometers, but then I didn't have them at
Oh,
300,000, so I know he's at least within 250. So you can kind of positionally, yeah. And then you could shoot probes out, and then you could do, you could configure
Yeah.
exactly where he is, get a pinpoint, and then you could warp to him with your buddies and blow up his ship, and then you could pot him afterwards. Oh wait, that's EVE
This
Online.
sounds like the makings of a good game. You
Yeah,
should
I
write
think
this.
so. EVE Online has all that. That'd be perfect.
We're such
Yep.
trolls.
Yeah. But no, filters look good. That seems like they're on it. Seems like they're addressing those. This I thought was kind of interesting. They talked about the dialogue-driven purchases in the persistent universe. And of course, the first thing they're going to worry about is beer, because they want beer to be able to be bought at the pubs.
I bet Paul just like loved that.
Paul, I think, was doing a little happy dance immediately
I'm
when they
sure.
heard that. It's like, oh,
So the thing about this, though,
Mhm.
is you got to admit it's the perfect test bed for subsumption, because that's basically what's running it all. Is
Yep.
subsumption. I mean,
absolutely.
and the more people you got, how does he, deal with 10
Mul-
people?
Yeah,
or
with
whatever?
multiple customers and AI, everything trying to interact at once. I think that it's going to be interesting to see, and it's safe, right? Because it's not like a major purchase. You're doing something that's a social type of dynamic that can mess with in there, and it's over beer, so everybody's going to appreciate it. So it'll be fine. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great test to see how that works. I just hope that I hope it works really well and it's not too buggy. And I'm sure from there, it'll be great. It'll be wonderful. All right. And that was all of Calling All Devs. Let's see. Let's go over this one because I got Vadio for this one. Oh, speaking of which, I do want to, it's a little bit fast forward, but I want to point out something. This was actually a question on RTV that somebody brought up, which I thought was hilarious. Somebody asked about why Chris wears 2 watches on RTV. I was like, really?
Oh my gosh.
I was like, really? It's like, because he said, well, this over here is a Fitbit that Sandy got him a few years ago. And
No,
this
no.
is his
The
watch.
Fitbit is new. The
The watch got Sandy got. Okay, so that's the same thing we all thought, but I'm glad you guys burned time with a question about the watches. Why he wears a double
Yeah, thanks
watch.
whoever posed that question.
Yeah.
Look how mad Sandy is about it.
Yeah, she looks like she's gonna get you all over it. No, ATV was pretty good. I'd have to say these
I'm
guys.
shocked they didn't ask. Why does he always wear black?
Well, I think they.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Why
I
does he
think they
just like
ignore them.
Gru from the Minions?
Oh wow.
Oh God.
So
If I was Chris, I would come in on the next show with like
A Hawaiian
7
shirt?
watches per arm. Just
oh yeah,
That would
that'd be great. Like just or add a watch each week, just randomly. Just add 1 watch. Don't say anything about it, and just come on.
just keep going. Just
Just
yeah.
keep going, little by little.
what would be better is if we just sent him a backer watch every week.
There you
Yes.
That's what we got to do.
go. More watches.
All right. I'm sending him a Mickey Mouse watch.
Guys, we'll send them all kinds of watches. You send them wrist watches, send them like clocks, send them pocket watches. Send them all kinds of stuff.
Please wear this on there
Yeah.
for each one.
So this video here was by Try Eye and Skynev's part of the, was it French community, I believe?
Yeah, Spanish.
Spanish community. I hate it whenever they always regionalize communities like that, but it's whatever. I get it.
It's
But
language.
It's
Well, I mean, I was gonna say that it's not like they watch you. They don't speak. If you don't speak English,
from the English
watch English
community.
drums.
I get a lot of German and French people to watch me, actually.
Well, you do, but they all speak
yes, but
English.
they speak English.
I'm sure some
So
of these
there's
guys do
there's the
too.
communities.
I
Do you
don't
speak
go-
Spanish.
I was gonna say I don't watch the Spanish and French communities because I would just be sitting there watching garble. I have no
watch it.
idea what they're saying.
There are
I'm
bilingual
just a
people
weirdo.
that
I
will
don't
be
know.
interested in both.
I watch these guys.
Right.
I'm bilingual, but I only speak English and Chinese, so I wouldn't watch a French channel, even if they create great. I watch their videos as long as they don't have to try to understand what they're saying.
I watch I even watch you guys, but I usually watch everything muted. So
Oh well, see,
I do because I'm working on our stuff. I do. I watch a lot
no,
of
I
stuff.
watch
and-
Captain Kim as well. There, Kamikaze,
Yeah,
and
there you
but
go.
a lot of times, as soon as you come to the channel, he'll start speaking English. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I
All
don't
I know in Spanish is where's the beer and where's the bathroom. That's.
Oh, there
I
you
was
go.
in Spain for 5 days, and that's all I cared to learn.
that's all you need to learn in 5 days. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Captain Kim does both English and
Yeah, he does both.
Korean.
And Korea.
Yeah. Yeah, he does both. But yeah, this is a great video they did. Very, very good. I don't know if I'd have the patience to do. I think somebody in chat told me it took them over 5 hours to choreograph all this. They had it all pre-planned and stuff, but they, choreographed it out kind of so they can
Aw, man.
do it. They did a great
I'd do
job of
that.
it, though.
But I'm
How to herd ants.
Oh my god! Yeah, we know all about that.
Yeah, herding ants is one thing, but doing, we haven't done anything choreographed like this. I mean, with
That's
Love
the
awesome,
camera
though.
work is really good.
The camera work is amazing.
Yeah, they did a great
I've been
job.
telling Mitt for a while that I wanted to get,
Wait, go back.
do
Did you
one
see
of
the
these
floating? There was a
to get all the
floating
ships
rover.
together.
Yeah, I saw. Where was that?
That was back just right there.
It's
Yeah,
not floating. It's
Yes,
on
it is.
sand.
Oh, it was.
Wait
Oh,
for it.
definitely floating.
Wait for it.
Pause it on it, Mitt.
Too far back.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where was it?
It's right
It's
after
one of the ground
cactus
scenes.
Yeah, it's right after the cactus scene.
There it is.
Yeah, just let it go, let it go.
It's
Next scene,
It's EVA rover, right?
right there.
Right there.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely floating.
yeah.
Somebody used a brand new 3.3 anti-gravity gun. They weren't going to announce yet on it. So,
That's funny.
yeah. No, but great video. But you
Look,
were
the
saying, Toy?
rover's flying in formation with them.
No, I was
Yeah.
just saying, I've been telling you for a while that I wanted to get, when we do one of these weekend things, to get
Mhm.
all the ships together.
Yep.
And record everybody popping in at once. Thought
Yeah,
that would
we've
make
we've
for a cool
we've
video.
tried to do that. We get her addicted and separated. It's hurting
Yeah.
cats.
It's a mess.
And now that everybody's done it like a million times, I feel like okay, we could do it too. But it's kind of like one of those things. Problem is with this whole thing of what they did right here, they brought it all in close so that way you could see it all, right? We were out there, we're more from, rather than choreograph the thing, we're out there having the guys have fun where it was actually tactically relevant.
We were trying to win.
Yeah, we were trying to win instead of like be 6 feet away from each other, showing how cool it looks when you shoot guns off.
So far, I have 100% win rate on Saturdays. So
You're always on the right team.
yeah, exactly. That's all I got to do.
So, but yeah, again, guys, just continue to plug Saturday tomorrow at noon. Please make sure you sign up if you're going to come, so that way we know we have enough. Last I checked, I only had 13 people signed up. So the
Wow.
week before we had 67. So if people,
I think you're going to have a lot of people that just pop in.
If they just pop in, I'm
Yeah.
not going to sit there and go through all that, signing their names and doing all that. So that's why I'm trying to tell people, because I know what's probably happening. I think you're right. Is everybody signed up last week and they're like, oh, well, I already signed up the week before, so I'm good. And I've been telling people all week long that I delete the whole list every week. So, yeah. So it might turn into a Ren stream real quick. If it gets too frustrating, where it's like, my name's Joe _ 3-21400. Oh, that's not it. That's my email address. I'm sorry. It's like, it's a
The other thing
frustrating
you forgot there was pushing up the glasses.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Really good stuff, though. What do you guys think? Let's, Drones, what do you think about the floating trash?
You know, I don't know. I honestly thought we already had, and the way they described it was particles that can be affected by things like wind.
Mhm.
And I kind of thought that was already in, like, or not in, like, in use.
I
but
thought
like,
it was
the tech
in.
was there on the back end. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I thought that was how the dust storms were done.
Well, yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know how this is different than a dust storm.
Yeah,
I
couldn't
debris is
figure
bigger,
the
I guess.
distinction out.
The debris is physicalized and it is affected by the wind. Where
Yeah,
so it'll blow up. It'll float back.
So
down.
if I stand right here, if I have a dude that's standing right here, pardon my amazing art, CIG, I am available.
My
for
God,
concept.
CIG hired this man immediately.
No. So if I'm
Those
right
are the
here,
most midget legs.
Please
Oh,
don't.
that was not a leg. That was something else.
yeah. And so if you sit there and actually have wind and trash and stuff blowing this way, so does that mean it's actually going to bounce off and go around me?
Is it going to do damage?
Well, if it's
If it's
strong
fast enough
wind,
wind.
and yeah, strong wind, sharp object, maybe, yeah.
Remember that movie? What was it?
Twister.
Soldier? No, Soldier. It was the one where he was he was the soldier that got dropped off on the garbage planet because he refused to kill all the people and obey orders.
Yeah. I
And they were
remember
on that garbage planet. Remember that? All the trash
Yep.
was there, and they'd have these giant.
It's Kurt
storms
Russell,
and-
wasn't it, who played
Yeah,
that?
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is kind of what I'm thinking of the trash biome going to be like when they talked about the like particles like that moving, but
Mm-hmm.
different levels with different wind speeds, right?
Yeah.
And different size particles would move as the wind got stronger and stronger. I'd love to see that kind of a storm or something like that in the really trash parts of the, like where there's nothing to slow the wind down. It just gets up to these insane violent wind speeds. I'd love to see that kind of stuff.
With them showing
more crap for your the physics that has less processors already to try to process.
Absolutely.
That only has 4 processors, they said.
Yeah, he's like, it's capped out at 4 or whatever right now. One thing I noticed when we were looking at this mining aspect here, they're talking about, more mining improvements they want to do as they move towards 3.3, is the fact that they haven't said anything about wanting to add gimbals back to these. You think they're going to leave them fixed, or you think they're going to gimbal them again?
I think that they've got broken on accident. I don't think they meant to ungimbal them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
agree.
I stopped mining because it was no longer gimbaled. I couldn't aim it correctly. It was just like I didn't have to position.
Horrible.
It was bizarre. It's awful.
Yeah, because the current movements you do have are super janky. Like, they don't follow your mouse. It'll just fucking shoot off to one side. Or one time I put my probe out and it was pointing 45 degrees up. So my ship
mine
had to
too.
be pointed at the ground just to barely hit anything, and I couldn't mouse it. It was horrible.
Yeah. No, what I noticed is that it moves side to side, but
A
does
little
not
bit.
move up and down.
Well,
Not very
I
well,
noticed in
Fred
what
said.
they're showing in these demos and stuff that it's still fixed. It's not gimbaled, even in their fixed demonstrations here, or how they've some of the new stuff coming in. So I didn't know
That
if
stuff
maybe
he's
they're
moving it right there.
Well, let's watch.
He moved it at first.
Yeah, he moved it left and up, or I should say right and up.
Yeah, that's what I saw it.
Yeah, he just moved it there.
It
It's
is
moving
moving
around.
a little bit, but I can't tell if it's just moving a little bit and guiding the nose since he's in space or not. I don't know.
I am really excited about mining in space, though.
I am too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I am too.
I am really excited. In fact, I'm more excited about mining in space than I was about, boulders lying on the surface.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That
Space mining's
and
cool.
I am hoping that they will give us, how when we first saw pictures of the Prospector landed on the ground, we saw that the laser was pointed down.
Right,
And
you
then
would like
drilling
fly
down
over
into-
the thing.
Right, and you land on top of some area and you're scanning and you say, okay, there's minerals down there somewhere. So you have to start drilling. And, as long as you're drilling through the inert stuff, it should be blowing out the back end. As soon as you find, it's like, oh, deet, and it lets you know, okay, you're starting to go into, you maybe it'll start to tell you that there's a pocket of gas or something. That's what I'm hoping that they'll do for the, because I would like to see it where you land on the surface and the ore you're trying to go for is pretty deep. So you do have to point it straight down at the surface and sit there and mine to the drill and look at the readings and, that's what I hope.
I'm sure we'll get some more of that when we get the Orion too, because it's going to be a little bit more station oriented where you're going to have more feedback for each station because it's going to be more dangerous and drilling and stuff like that than an individual.
Well, I think that all the different aspects of the Orion, all the different mining things that you would normally discover in the Orion will be to some extent practiced or worked out on the Prospector, but you won't be able to do them all at once. So you'll have to do one at a time, and it'll take much longer in the Prospector, but at least the gameplay will be there. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Well, and then the Orion also has a processing aspect to it that the smaller ship doesn't, so that's in a roll or something.
The Prospector is supposed to have a filter to filter out all the garbage.
That's not a processor, so that just So
yeah.
The Orion has a refinery on board.
Yeah, where it'll actually that way you have all one element, no waste in one block. So it should be
the purity is like 99.999 is what they said. They were talking about that. I remember them talking about that, and they were talking about like 5 nines of purity in an Orion, whereas you'll have a 92%. You know how you get silver coins that are like 90% silver and have some other stuff in them? That's kind of what, with the filter activated in the Prospector, you'll get 90%. But with the Orion, you'll get almost absolute pure.
Well, there's a difference between refinery and it has a refinery, yes, but that's very different than the filtering system.
Yeah.
The filtering system just throws out all the garbage rock, where obviously you're still going to have some dust and debris and shit that you're turning in. But you don't have 2% of your.
I use the analogy
32
of
UEC.
Yeah, I use the analogy of mining for gold.
Or SCU.
Like if you're an old time miner and you're panning for gold, the filtering process, the Prospector would be like panning for gold, getting that waste out, and you're kind of just filtering it down to just what you see. Whereas the Orion will be melting down that gold, getting rid of the impurities, and doing it that way.
That's a refinery.
That's a refinery. That's the difference in the two.
That's why.
But right now we don't have the pan. We're just scooping up dirt and saying, "Good, it's got some gold in it," and good luck. So that's it.
You're getting ore.
Yeah.
Now, when you refine it, you turn the.
Well, you don't get just the ore. You're getting the waste rock right now because there's no filtering at all.
Now, the difference between the two.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, you'll be able to take that ore and turn it into.
You'll smelt it, and they'll pull the slag off, and they'll eject that crap, and there you go. So absolutely. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I can say I've grown more and more really interested in the FOIP, and I think this is going to be a huge aspect of 3.3 because I think it's going to be something that's just going to make it more immersive, and I can see machinimas and us doing all sorts of like fun little stuff in there with this. So I'm really excited about the face tracking and to see it work, especially with him with having huge black glasses. Because for people that don't know, that was the issue. It's like glasses like mine, the wireframes were fine when we did the test in Frankfurt, but when you have the huge blocky glasses, it was having problems identifying the blocky glasses versus the face in many cases. But it could see my eyes and actually track my eyeballs in my glasses just fine with my glasses. And to see it working to this degree, like that's really awesome because it's tracking his eyes in the glasses and everything else.
my hope is that they will be able to resolve the facial hair issue that lots of face tracking software has. Because like my beard is multiple colors, right?
Yep.
And with my beard and the multiple colors, before I shaved off this middle part, I have to try it again. But before I shaved off the middle part, which has this like dark part right down the center.
Yeah, I got that.
The machinima, or not the machinima, but the face tracking software always made the avatars' mouths open all the time.
Yeah.
Because they thought that my mouth was open
Yeah.
all the time.
But it's all part of the calibration, and really the calibration aspect of this hasn't changed. When we tested it in Frankfurt, you got to try it too, didn't you, Toy?
Yeah.
The FOIP stuff. When we tested it there,
awesome.
it has literally, you push just a button on your keyboard to calibrate, and you just hold it down. And you can see there, one of the things that gives me a lot of hope for that is the fact, look at the regions it's tracking. It tracks your nostrils. It tracks your mouth. And the beard part shouldn't be a problem. The problem they had
eyebrows,
was,
it looks like.
yeah, your eyebrows versus your glass reference. You'll see a secondary little line where the top edge of his glasses are. So that way it can differentiate facial expression between what your eyes are doing and that. And it has pupil trackers where it has 2 dots directly on where it's centerized what your eye movement is. So when you look left, it tries to look left and right. So if you held your head still, I was able to look in the FOIP thing with my glasses sitting this far from the camera and just look left and right, and the eyes would move with my eyes. It was awesome. I was like, wow, that was really cool. And that's a year ago. So
And look how far away he's sitting from that camera. Too.
Yeah.
He's way back.
And not only that, his face is like or his head is like 90% hair.
yeah, it really is. But if you look at him demoing this, like even the first scenes here, look how much animation. Now look at the animations on the guy's face that he gets off this, even with all that. So he's getting a lot of facial tweaks and stuff. The thing that he's showing there is whenever you take off the glasses or you change your appearance, it doesn't calibrate itself automatically. They're working on having it do that. You just have to hit the button though. And when you hit the button, it'll track back in.
Oh man, you mean I got to hit a button? Damn
I
it.
know. I'm sorry. Yeah, hit a button.
like
Immersion broken.
Bullshit.
buttons.
Yeah.
What
was
he's
saying-
doing that I like is he's not over exaggerating
That's right.
either.
He's not sitting
He's
there
just
going like,
doing it normal.
'cause
He's
for-
not going like talking.
well, because if anybody's seen the
Bad
people,
Chinese movie.
yeah, if
I
anybody's
keep
seen
expecting
face
him to
rig being used,
Groovy baby.
if you've seen face rig being used, or if you used face rig software for anything just playing around before, you can get good animations out of it, but you have to over exaggerate things to get really good animations out of anything on it. This is really good.
Uber nerd, I got a fix for your problem if that works. If it's not working right for you, wear lipstick.
Wear lipstick.
Man has a point.
He does
I'm
have
just
a
going to
point.
go
Hey,
on record and say I'm probably going to get speared for this, but I don't give 2 shits about FOIP at all. I think it's going to be a performance hit that I don't want to take.
Yeah, I don't know if
What?
it will be. I don't think so.
Interesting.
You're out of here.
I was going to say, keep me out.
Fired.
That's it. Everybody out of the
I've
booth.
never been excited about it, even since they first did their release show about it. I really don't care about it. I know that's gonna be great for RP. A lot of people are gonna love it.
Yep.
And it's one of those things.
Sure.
It's like it's not for me. It's not an aspect of the game I'm interested in. I'm
I've
not gonna be
seen that
looking that close at anyone's face. I don't think too much.
Right.
This stuff has been out for 20 years, and yeah, they're doing some better work on it, but it's literally been out for 20 years. EverQuest 2 was the first one I remember.
I'm
that
just
had it.
one of the main things I'm excited about it for is not only the aspects of just immersive stuff in the game. It's really also about the aspect of you can come in there and more people look at the game because it's there. That's
Right.
what it's going to draw more people, more attention. People are like, "Oh, here we go."
I like that they don't like Apple. You see how them beating on
Yeah,
them?
beating the shit out of it.
Yeah.
No, I do like VoIP. VoIP
Yep.
is awesome.
Well, I do if they structure it right. I'm
This
really
was
critical
cool.
of what they're going to do.
The sounds of these items rolling down, and like the difference in sounds that it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Have something rolling on a slanted surface versus a flat surface.
the box itself sounds cool, but I want different sounds for stuff I put in it too. Like if I have tools, it sounds all
If
Don't
Toy
believe
puts
I
his
fill it full of
top
kittens
chocolate,
and throw it down the hill.
yeah, his pocket change, whatever he wants. It's like
Little
his-
babies. It makes a
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't do babies.
Oh, come on.
All right.
The Spearland stuff's I was like, okay, the SG1 Spearland stuff. But this stuff with the mantling and stuff, it looks a lot smoother to me what they're trying to implement. If you look at how he goes through the motion, it's like you kind of get jinky and you stop there. And then my problem isn't the actual climbing aspect of what our current motion is. It's watch when he climbs the wall, how he freezes. This is a thing I experience in Star Marine and everything else. So when he comes up on the
Yeah.
bottom one, he's stuck for a second before he can move again.
Yeah.
And the
that's
new
your
one,
death right there.
yeah, because you have no control. You have no reaction for like half a second.
And not only
Well,
that,
the
when
new-
you come out of the movement, you're stuck for a second.
Yep.
Yep.
Because watch when he
Can I-
gets up to
can
the
I
top of the wall.
Take a
other
moment
dude's
and say,
halfway
"What's
across
up,
the wall."
Jaylee?"
Yeah, Jay Lee's in. Jay Lee's giving me shit about my comment.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
There
see,
he
he's
is.
jumping before he even hits the wall too, which
Yep.
is what you would do. You
Yep.
wouldn't come up. To
No,
the
you
wall,
run
stop,
into a
and then
wall
jump
first,
up.
and then you
Yeah.
jump. It's standard procedure.
Yeah. Smack
Confirmed.
wall, jump up. No, I
make
like
sure
that.
that you
I also
rim
like
the
the
barrel of your
slides.
rifle.
I like the slides too. But you can notice,
Now,
like
all
in our
we need-
current one, is it hitches on the slide. It hitches. It's on both things, but the new one is smooth. Now, if we have the right frames, this is what always frustrates me about the thing, because the frame rate takes a dip when you interact with a lot of these objects right now. So you can't tell
Yep.
if it's fixed or if it's jinky or if it's the animation or not, because your frame rate takes a hit. Maybe it's your frames, because I've been on servers when they're empty and stuff that I thought was broken. Oh no, it's fine. It's just my frame
Yeah, it
rate
works just
took
fine.
it. Yeah, it
So-
works just
so-
fine.
Yep.
So now, okay, now that we got the slide, it's
Mhm.
cool. But now we need a 1969 Ford Gran Torino. So that we
Yeah.
can slide over the
Slide across the hood. Absolutely.
That's right.
I
Well,
think
with
a
that
lot of
plastic
these
armor,
animations-
you should just scoot right across.
Yeah. Ugh.
A lot of these animations, when Chris talked at the end about the phase changes and stuff, the way the stuff is going to change with the
Mhm.
way it goes now, I think all those animations are going to be so much smoother when that happens, because they do. He says they get desynced, and we see that now. Like there's some nights I play Star Marine and I'll do a lean, and it takes up to 10 seconds for my character to lean,
Yeah.
and I got decent
Yeah.
frames.
That's just because you're old.
Well,
There's also a groan that's accompanied with that.
Wow.
I always go and I use the I gotta use my foam roller before I play Star Marine so I can properly make sure I'm agile enough to do those leans and everything.
You got to have the dad
better
noises
get the
accompanied with
donut
it
to
too.
sit on
All the
after
grunts.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually
man.
kind of I like this too, that they're finally adding a procedural grabby type aspect to the object, so that we're not just like my hands are inside the box magically somewhere and I'm actually look like I'm holding on to it.
Yeah.
So them just
Yeah, the
going up.
box is a giant hand warmer.
Yeah, yeah. So, and you know, that way if you got your if you want to use your slam ball, you can use that and you can hold it right. If you're picking up the kids' toys, you can use those because he's got the crate for the kids' toys. Or if you want your exercise ball out, you know, if you got to do a little bit of cardio and you want to do some
That-
There's a
that's
big
a-
giant thing too.
yeah, or if you're
That's the Sata ball.
or if you're on a diet
on.
like I am and you have an empty plate, you can hold those. Yeah, it looks empty.
Some more, please.
Bag
So,
of protein
might
powder
I
on the
have
floor
some,
there. You can grab that.
Yeah.
Consider yourself.
I just hope we can
Oh.
throw all those objects. I'm just saying. If I can't
But
throw
who-
them at somebody, what's the
You
point
know,
of picking
I
them
like
up?
how people
Who carries
like
a box like this though? Who have you ever picked up a box and like a heavy item and carried it by clamping the sides?
only if they have
Of
handles
course.
on it. I can't think like
Strong people
I've
do.
never found a box that had like vertical handles to do that. You know, it's
No.
like because wouldn't they have to have vertical to hold it up here? Otherwise, you'd hold it down.
No,
Or-
you just pure clamping chest strength. Just
Well, maybe when I was single and there was girls around, it was like, oh yeah, let me pick up this
yeah,
box.
let me get this. Yeah.
I got this. See, pure palm strength. I can just palm this thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, is the gym that way?
Yeah.
Or over there?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's over that way, you know. But yeah, it's just crazy. I loved how when the people came up and said, confirm Sata Ball. That's not the Sata Ball, guys. That's a 4-kilogram slam ball. I don't know where they got that. I don't know where they got this 3D object like reference from, but they probably had some loose gym equipment laying around the office.
That is
or
the
something.
biggest 4-kilogram ball I've ever seen.
Isn't it huge? It's like, because a 20-pound ball is only this big, and I'm like, it's a beach ball with a little sand in the bottom of it or something. It's like, what is that? It's funny. And empty plates. Procedural food not that. That's a huge crate.
That is a table.
That better have pillows in it.
A desk.
I'd throw my back out. It's like
It's a desk.
it's like,
Grab your shit and get out. I'm taking the desk too.
yeah. And see, wouldn't that be so much more meaningful, Tickles, if you could say that if his mouth was moving? Because if I'm walking down this hallway, it'd be more meaningful. Because if I got this plate, it's like, look. And that bitch kicked me out. Look at this. Cook all my shit in this box. All I got's this box. That means so much more than like, hey, you know, it's like, yeah, I got a box.
The psychopath stare.
Yeah.
Although, have you seen? It's like they have their facial movements in already. I don't know if you've looked at your character.
Oh yeah,
he blinks out and zoomed in on him.
Yeah,
the facial movements that your guy makes right now are ridiculous looking.
They're ridiculous, but they're still amazing. But I like it. Like he's always like, I'm like, I don't really want to run into this guy in a dark hallway because he's always like looking very sternly, like.
This is a great pause you have here, by the way.
It's meaningful. It's perfect.
He looks like the guy in his shirt right now.
Yep. It's his impersonation of the guy in the shirt. No, but
like I said, I'm not saying that FOIP is not going to have any impact, positive impact on the game. Mm-hmm. We're saying it's not something that I am personally.
I think it's going to have a negative impact
looking
too.
forward to.
I think
it's definitely going to take resources.
Oh, dude, it's not even from that aspect. I'm still waiting for the guy who's going to run around, come up there, and you'll be like off screen. You'll be sitting there just mind your business, looking at the and he's going to come up.
Guy just pops into frame.
Yeah, he's just like, screaming. Or
I've already been talking about getting videos of something like that just to feed into the camera capture source.
And
just have a static animation.
Every time I play Postscriptum, there's some guy playing music, just like it's like I'm having flashbacks of original Xbox days, like some guy playing music in the background. All you hear in the mic is like, proxy chat.
You're going to have to be able to turn off VoIP and VoIP because you know how many streamers are going to get banned from someone coming in and just
cussing their butt off or saying, some obscenities.
I don't let that audio go out to stream, ever.
Yeah. Well, if it's blended into the game audio and you don't have a slider to reduce it or isolate it, you're gonna
have to be able to have a toggle for at least voice.
Yeah. For the love of God, OBS and XSplit, make a dump button for us. I really want to have some sort of 10-second buffer so I can do like radio stations and TV does, where I dump video or audio.
You can set a stream delay on OBS.
You can, but it still goes out. Right?
Yeah, delay doesn't mean
a dump.
Yeah, that's true.
A dump would flush, like you have that 10-second buffer or whatever, and then it would just, something bad just happened. Hit the button and it's like erase, and it just have black screen for that little bit. And I'm like, that's better than having some of that crap go out.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't have that already.
They should, especially idea. Yeah, I've been marking that forever, especially with talk shows. Like, imagine we could actually have people call into a show. You know, and I'd feel safe about it because if they say something crazy, I just dump them and it's like, whatever.
Or if something happens on your show. And you don't want it to get out.
And you don't want it to get out. Not that anything would ever happen on the SpaceBro show that would ever cause me to do that.
Nothing.
But yeah, so I don't know. I just think there's some stuff that really needs to be addressed with some of the broadcast software and whatnot. But there's going to be some concerns, not only for streamers, but just some people don't want to listen to that shit. They don't want to listen to that shit. They don't want to. It's going to ruin their game experience. If you're playing a game, or if you're talking to an NPC and you're immersed in your whole little RP world of what you're doing, and some guy comes back and he's just like screaming at the top of his lungs, I mean,
you got his wife or something sitting there yelling at him, and then they get into a
open
fight.
mic. You know.
You got this open mic fight going
Yep.
on.
Yep. It's crazy.
That's the best parts.
Does the body?
Yeah. It's crazy sauce. But yeah, they're I
Cheers,
don't know.
Uber. Cheers.
Cheers.
They're gonna have to do
Is that
something.
Guinness as well?
Actually, yes, it is. Guinness
is?
Blonde.
Oh, Guinness.
Mine's
Stout.
not the milkshake version tonight.
Mine's the milkshake version.
I have my Guinness down in the fridge.
Is it nice and warm?
Oh no! I like a nice cold Guinness.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
I've been to the Guinness Brewery in Ireland, and
Oh,
they
wow.
serve it cold.
Yep.
It's not served warm.
Nope.
Yep.
The only place they serve warm beer is in bad pubs where they don't have enough money. To
They don't have chillers.
They don't have chillers. And then they go, "That's the
And then
way you're
they say,
supposed
"Oh,
to drink it."
It's tradition.
Yeah,
Very
it's easier to say tradition than go buy ice. It's like,
Yeah.
it's tradition. Oh, okay.
I will say the coolest thing I've ever seen. I know we're getting off topic here, but I was at an airport
Not
bar.
on this
and
show.
they
We don't
had-
get off topic.
They had like these circular
Yeah.
cold spots, and they were like super frosty, and you set your beer on those to keep your beer cold. It was the coolest
Oh,
thing I've
that's
ever
pretty
seen.
cool.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Well, it's easy to be in every bar across the world.
Absolutely.
Might be one day.
Maybe. All right.
But for $8 a beer, you better be able to keep it cold.
Oh, sure.
Man. Keep thinking about how expensive it's going to be to drink down in Austin.
Dude,
Mm.
I'm bringing $1,000 cash with me, and that's probably like not cash, but like I've got $1,000 set aside.
I was like, "Oh, really?
Yeah, it's,
where are you going to be? Where are you going to be hanging out at?"
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, I'm also bringing a security team.
Yeah.
But no, like I've got $1,000 earmarked,
Yeah.
and that's going to be my spending money. And I, for the love of God, I hope I don't hit that limit. You know what I mean? But I'm hoping that I'm bringing over what I need to CitizenCon, because barbecue's expensive. First of all,
It's expensive, but it's really not. I looked at the pricing. It's not any more expensive than what it is here in Kansas City. So if you're getting the high end stuff where to check out all the food, I think you're still only going to pay $15 to $25 a plate on certain things.
yeah. I mean, who knows really?
Yeah.
But it's going to be expensive.
The beer is what I'm worried about with the festival. It's like, oh, that $4 draw is now $22 because it's the special.
Dude.
You know, like
I lived in Vegas for 5 years, and nothing can ever beat those prices.
that's where Toy lives still. So
Yep.
Yeah, I was there for 5 years. I was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base there, and that's you go down to the Strip and you pay $20 for a shot.
yeah. Oh, I know. I stayed in Vegas the one night because that's where we went to TwitchCon because TwitchCon was first last year. Then we flew out to Frankfurt. Me and Toy did. So we had one night that I stayed in the Luxor, I guess, when I was there. And I just went down to the bar real quick. It was middle of the week or whatever. Went down to the bar and I just got me some food. And I got like one mixed drink and a shot. And I think I ended up spending like $78 for food, a beer, and a shot. And I was like, what happened?
Yeah, a 12-ounce beer in a casino is about $9.
I was like,
Or just
what
like Bud
just
Light.
happened? I don't know. I
You
felt
didn't listen. That's why.
well. I was just trying to go down from my room because they had no room service.
I know, but
What?
if you sit in front of a machine,
How does the place not have room service?
Not on Wednesdays. They don't have room service because not a hopping joint.
Just on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I
Wait.
was there. I was like a Wednesday or Tuesday
That's
or something.
in
like
bullshit.
front of a machine
you
and
sit in front of a
I'm
machine,
not
put
g-
$20 in it,
Oh, my God.
and then just cash out your $20 after you get.
I
your
wasn't
drink.
there to gamble, so I didn't want to. So I was
No, you don't have to gamble.
Yeah, you sit down on the penny slot so you
No.
can drink free all night, man.
Didn't want to do that.
They're
I
hoping
went,
to
I
get
went
you
upstairs
drunk
mad,
and
and I just like got on my stream
$50
remote, and we streamed from the hotel. So I was like, whatever. I was like, I don't know.
I went to Blackhawk in Colorado when they first opened gambling. Not to take us too far off topic, but it's a space
Too
bros,
late.
damn it.
Yeah, Space Bros. We go completely off topic.
We're
here.
gonna be
But,
off topic.
The,
I mean,
the difference between going there, because there were a lot of people that go there, stay in the hotel, come down.
Is
and
he speaking? I can't hear him.
gamble.
He's just got a
I
lot
know, isn't
lighter.
it
What?
nice?
I did.
Isn't
Yeah,
it great,
you
guys?
dipped.
I love
Oh,
that.
God
Did
dang it!
Mitachi
why?
turn him down?
I didn't.
I didn't touch nothing. No, generally, here's what I do when Uber talks.
Thanks,
I
man.
actually leave this hand on the mixer the whole time, and I drive it up and down as his volume goes like this.
I have no idea why it's driving like that. It doesn't do it on my stream ever. So I have no
Allegedly.
idea what's doing. But anyways, so the
Nice, really loud
we
cigarette
would
back
go
on.
and we would play the nickel slots and we'd be comped alcohol all night. And then the next morning we'd have a free breakfast.
There you go.
Yep.
The people who didn't gamble at all, they would spend like you did on a dinner for one person and a beer, $70.
Oh yeah, you go play the nickels or the penny slots or something.
Yep.
And then you could drink free all night, and you'll get a buffet voucher.
Yep.
I just
Yep, got a
I
would
felt
get a
like
buffet voucher for the morning. And
it was like a Tuesday or whatever, middle of the week, and I felt like if I went over there and just started playing on a machine by myself, vacant in the casino, I was like,
No.
God, I feel
one of
like
each.
that, like an old dude just sitting there all lonely by himself, like, I'll just play the nickel slots. I was like, no,
No, dude. There's like old people that go there, and they'll own a fucking row.
Oh, I know.
You do not. They will play each machine in a row
There's
all
nobody in
night
there.
long.
There's nobody in there when I was down there. There's nobody. It's dead zone. It's dead. I'm sure it's hopping other parts of the day, but it was pretty dead. I looking at this image. Back to Star Citizen. Why is he
What is
leaning
Star
right?
Citizen?
He's like totally.
He's in the middle of a hall.
He's in the middle of a hall. He's like, I'll lean.
Thank you.
Wow. I mean, I guess
Thank you.
it worked out
it's
for him.
Ben. Don't you recognize Ben?
There you go.
And
I have to say, I love these
just,
death animations, though. Like these little, compared to what we saw a few weeks ago, right?
that's good. I like
This
that.
looks way better AI interaction with like getting shot and stuff happening than what we saw with the guy running into the wall face first and like not knowing where to pull his gun out. This looks way better.
As soon as they got shot, they just started shooting and turning around. Just
Well, that's what we do, right? If you sit there in any video game
Just
ever
pull the
played,
trigger.
just pull the trigger and hope you hit something. It's like, what's happening?
no trigger
Yeah.
discipline.
Yeah.
Exeneer brings up a good point. We were talking about the guy that gets shot in the crotch in the video. Like
Oh,
there
yeah.
should be there should totally be an animation where if you get shot in the crotch, you're grabbing your crotch.
Here's
sorry,
what would
that
happen.
needs to happen.
Day
Drop your
one.
knees.
Like
Day one.
Yeah, totally.
It would be every time if it's just even one little shot, so everybody would line a bunch of dudes up and they'd all try to shoot each other in the crotch, so they just grab their crotches repeatedly, and they'd have a whole like music dance video for it, and that's why they wouldn't do that.
How did you know the whole plan of my stream?
I knew. It's like, oh, I just ruined his whole stream launch day.
That's like when people are like, we should be able to paint our ships. I was like, no, there'd just be a bunch of penises flying
Yep.
around. The whole verse would be just nothing but dicks.
That's what we
Just
called
flying
it
about.
in EVE Online. I got the best freeze frames on these. I love them.
Sandy's right now.
Oh my god, it's perfect. Yeah, I just know, like, we used to call it in EVE Online. It was called TTP, time to penis. Like, was the thing.
Yep.
Like, how long would a new set of drawings or art or anything take it before somebody would create a penis out of it? So they tried to always reduce the aptitude and increase the amount of time before anybody could create TTP.
They are gonna let us paint our ships, but it's gonna be gonna be
Skins,
like
basically.
yeah, it's gonna be skins. You're gonna be able to choose the
Mhm.
colors. You're not gonna be. It's not gonna be random painting.
Oh, no,
but you're
no,
going to be able to
nobody's
like
getting
this
random
part
painting.
can be changed into any color, and then this other part, and maybe you have 3 or 4 different, so that you will have relatively uniquely colored ships, but it won't be giant penises flying through space.
I had so many plans for my freelancer, though.
You don't have to. You can just color the whole thing pink and be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like find the pink skin and you're good.
Oh my gosh.
You're
Meanwhile,
good.
back at the ranch.
That's right.
Hmm.
All
oh
right.
God, someone got message deleted. That's
Well, that doesn't take
died.
much here. Well, it was Bender. What do you think? And here's look, all the stuff Bender says and gets away with in my chat. And oh, that was a hand. It was just somebody trying to link that wasn't a sub. But Bender got modded in here too by AutoMod, and this is probably the tamest thing Bender's ever said. I know. It's like he hadn't said anything. He's like, I really hope we can put our ship names on him. And it auto-modded him for that. Like all the crap Bender says in my chat. And it's like, oh, I hope we can put the ship names on him. Mods. I'm like,
what the heck did
Oh, there goes Bender. There he goes.
yeah, I was like, that won't take long for him to like find a real reason to get modded. Oh, it doesn't take much. The auto mod is not bad.
The auto mod, like,
Toy got him there.
Yeah, the automod is doing stuff that I don't understand. I'm looking at it and going, that doesn't make any sense. That wasn't at all.
The thing is, but the automod, because it also has an aggression sensor. You got to remember, it was made in California. So anything that's aggressive, if I say fight, kill, hit,
plastic
anything like
straw,
that. Yeah, plastic straw.
I got one that's
that
good for you.
You almost made Uber spit
were,
his Guinness all out.
That's not good, man.
I forget who said it, but in my chat, like I want to say about a week ago, we were talking about custom PC builds, and somebody mentioned, and I won't use the exact verbiage, but power cables that happen to be white, and because of the way they worded it, it assumed that it was hate speech, and
oh my god!
Wow.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Did it say hate speech on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it categorizes it, the automod. It'll tell you you and your mods like why it did it. Like everything. The SpaceBros are the most sexualized people in the world, according to my automod, because everything they say is sexual.
Sexual.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, there was not a what?
Yeah.
I mean, who are these creeps and perverts that are writing it? Oh, yeah,
that'll write the code for automod.
Oh yeah, that's totally sexual. We're gonna have to ban that one.
And Mod Max, I'm not gonna allow that at all. So
I already denied that one.
I ran around the block. Oh, totally sexual. That's it.
Yeah,
it's like
I gotta tell my mods all the time because sometimes they'll just say, "Hey, permit term," and put this in there. I'm like, "No, don't do that." Like somebody had been talking about like, what was it? Somebody said. Oh yeah, I was playing this FPS game and I raped that guy, you know. I was like, and then immediately Zombie says, permit term. I'm like, no, we don't want that. That's like total bad context. I was like, they just get the whole thing. I'm like, that is not good. You shouldn't use that term anyways in anything. It's like not good.
No.
I had to message Zombies. I'm like, no, you know, it's like, it's okay, guys. He's from Serbia. He didn't understand. It's like, don't do it. It was bad. RTV.
That was a good one.
Jared's getting cleaner and cleaner shaved as it goes on.
I hate that. I want the beard back. He's got one of the best beards I've ever seen in my fucking life.
He hates the beard.
I don't care. You have to do it for humanity.
He hates the beard. He literally
beard
hates
above
the beard.
self. Okay.
Apparently not. He hates the beard. He really does.
He's a beard hater.
Sad.
But I will say,
sad because he's got a glorious beard.
Well, he also grows hair like nobody I've ever seen. Like he can literally shave in the morning. He's got like half a beard by the end of the night. It's like, my God. He's like, I hate beards. I'm like, but you're wearing one. And he's like, I shaved this morning. And I'm like,
it's like the Santa Claus where he shaves and it like,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm
you know? I'm like,
trouble.
are you Tim Allen? It's like crazy.
But yeah, we actually watched Reverse the Verse right before. That's what we did on my stream for the first part of it because I hadn't seen it yet. I've been doing more homework for that stupid history class.
And I have to plead to Jay Lee, for the love of God, Jay Lee, you literally grow facial hair worse than I do. And I grow terrible facial hair. Please stop. Because he's trying to grow the beard and the whole thing. And he always has the exact same problem I do too, because it's like it grows here and there, get like nothing here. I don't know. He's going for the full beard. I don't know. We'll see. It could fill in. We'll hope. We love you, Jay Lee. But
in his defense, he's Asian, and that's not usually the best.
I know. It's like I don't even have that excuse.
My problem is I'm Irish and Hungarian, so.
I'm Irish, Scottish,
he likes to
German.
go farther south.
Yeah, no doubt. But for those people who don't know, didn't catch all this stuff, this is the gift that Jay Lee and Champion had told me about that it got sent there. He's been talking about, Champion's been talking about this for the shark suit. Yes. I still don't know why. And when I asked Jay Lee, he was like, yeah, I don't know why he wants to send a shark suit, but he wanted to send a shark suit. So this is what they did with it. The shark suit is amazing. It's really good. This is a high quality shark suit. Super expensive. And if you look, it's not only got all the footwear and all the stuff, it's got the cooling gear.
The fan.
The fan on the helmet.
It's got a
full
fan?
Yeah, watch. You can
It's
see
got a
down the
friggin'
helmet.
fan.
It's a mascot quality. This has got to be hundreds, if not a couple $1,000s. Look. There's the fan.
Hashtag mascot quality.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at that. Oh, wait. You're in the wrong scene.
I was gonna say where.
I was about to say.
Well,
I'm not
but
seeing
I'm
it.
trying not to switch too much.
There we go.
There's Jay Lee's modeling the fan. Let's see if
Is that a computer fan?
Basically, yeah, they use the same.
It looks
type of
like a
fan.
120.
I hope you don't have long hair.
Yeah.
And trust me, a computer fan would just grab it. That's why if Jay Lee wore it, it'd be like,
Yeah.
you're stuck in the fan. Because it just takes usually a small battery or something like that. But they put space in it and cooling, and then usually you wear a chill suit with those. What?
A lot of time as a mascot.
Well, if you're doing like, I hopes you would in certain areas of wear it. I know the sports team one does. This is hilarious. Land shark.
I don't know why I'm walking like this. That's how sharks walk.
I like how everybody who you would presume doesn't know
Candy
who it
Graham.
is or anything, they just go like right here. You'll hear, "Hi, Jared."
Hey, Jared.
That's
Hey,
Jared.
Jared. Like they know it's Jared. It's like there's no question about who it was. Oh, hey, Jared.
Candygram.
Normal
This
things.
is how sharks walk.
He's like he's so proud. And there,
I like how CR's office is right outside the kitchen.
yeah. Let's look at it.
This is how sharks hunt.
Dude, when he like looks up, he's like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah. I think half of it is I think this is saving grace. Now watch Chris's initial like reaction there. I love this part. He's like, what the hell? And then he sees the camera too. And he's like, oh my God. I think he, for a half second, thought it was a candy grab or something stupid. It's like, I think for a half second, he's like, what is happening right now? I just noticed.
Damn damage in chat brings up, why wasn't it a hammerhead?
Yeah, right?
Good point.
Ooh.
Good point.
Maybe they didn't have a hammerhead one.
New helmet coming in
No
soon.
excuse.
No excuse.
I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to start a thread. I want space sharks.
Well, yeah,
If we're gonna have
what did he
space
say? We have
whales-
space whales.
If we're going to have space whales, I want space sharks because space sharks
sure.
are badass.
Oh, dude, we could have a new show like the Shark Tank, but
Yep.
space.
Well,
space
you
theme.
pirates could make their victims walk the plank into space as sharks. It's like it'd be great. It's all the rage. We could have Shark Week on Star Citizen. But yeah, but they answered a lot of questions. What for those of you guys who did get to see this, which I don't think everybody did, but for those of you guys who did get to see this, what was probably the most interesting thing that was asked that Chris responded to? What were your thoughts on that? Who wants to start?
Not the watches.
Not the watches.
Obviously, the watches.
It was
Totally.
it was for drones.
Obviously, inquiring minds needed to fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you guys
I've been
think about?
saying all along the
Go ahead.
Object container stream,
Yeah.
streaming stuff, all this network stuff. You know, he's been saying the same thing I have, that stuff has to get in, has to be, you know, that's what was missing from 3.0 is all this network stuff. So.
It sounds like their cards are pretty much all in on OCS.
Yep.
Yeah.
They really are. They've taken he talked about they've taken people off of like different professions and stuff that they've pushed
Yeah.
back to do this. They need to get this done.
Well, and that's what I thought was really
And I'm all for
interesting. I didn't even, because when they push the other things out, right, the other professions, the refueling, all these things, I was thinking, okay, yeah, it makes sense because they need the resources for this. But when he went deeper into it and he was talking about how they had to remap all these different items, all these different things to make sure they would fit into the new threads and stuff of what they're doing for the streaming, for the object container streaming to function, it made even more sense to me then, right? Like these, you wouldn't even have these features ready anyway because they all have to fit into object containers. So even if they didn't have those resources dedicated to working on object containers, the systems, the professions they want to bring online won't be ready for object container streaming. So it doesn't matter. They need to get all hands on deck, getting everything they currently have in the game working with object container streaming correct, and get that in and running. And then as they integrate new things like refueling, new professions and stuff, they can get all those dynamics, UIs and everything streaming in as well in this new system of how it fits in the puzzle. So it made a lot more sense to me that way.
I like
even if we got nothing, like let's say, and this is not going to happen, right? They're going to have Hurston ready. They have to. It's make or break kind of. But even if we didn't get Hurston and we just got object container streaming and the other performance fixes and networking backend stuff they were talking about for 3.3, even if we just got that for 3.3 and nothing else, I'd be a very happy camper.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was thinking that because of the way that the way that object container streaming and the network bind calling works together, they're definitely going to be helping to smooth things out in terms of the general performance. Because right now, wherever you're at, anywhere you've been, your computer is still tracking a lot of the assets that it has in its memory. So
all of the assets, everything, everywhere.
Well, yeah. So the problem is that the more ships come into the verse, the more ships, everything is like slower computers bogged down to 10 frames a second or below.
And all those assets on those ships, right? Like not just because when we say, oh, that was tracking the air ships, we have bigger, badder ships coming in. You get ships that have more assets to them. When you're tracking everything in this game, it's not just like, hey, I'm tracking 50 other people. You're tracking 50 other people, the 10 components like on their suit, their guns they have in their inventory on them that they whip out, their ships, what loadout they have on their ships. You're tracking everything. And if they drop something like a hammerhead in here and then they don't have that done, it's not going to happen. You have to have object container streaming to even think about putting Hurston, the hammerhead, even those aspects in there. It's not going to happen otherwise.
Well, and not only that, I mean, that's why when you get into a server and you're I've only had this happen like 2 or 3 times ever, but you get into a server where it's literally like just you or just you and one other person or something like that. Your frames are great because
you're getting near 60 in the PU all the time. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Well, like example,
you can watch your frames drop as people come in.
Yep, and as ships get loaded in.
Remember when we all got in the group of 50?
Yeah.
And we logged into the game. Nobody summoned up any ships, and my frames were above 60 or 60 to 70.
Yeah.
Even with all of us in there.
Because there's only up to 26 reference tags on a person. So if you come in with a suit, they've said this before, there's only like 26 assets that bring up the entire component of a person in there. So that times 50 is nowhere near, like you bring in one Hornet, which might have hundreds of assets to it.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, well, 10 Hornets make up more than a 50-man party of people.
Yeah.
And people don't get that when they're loaded in there. And all these systems, to be able to dump that stuff out and then continue to optimize and iterate, I mean, that's why Chris, during this thing, was saying, which probably wasn't super wise of him. You saw Jared's reaction to it. He said that like he could easily see it getting to 200 people, in a server and stuff before they even get to meshing.
Well, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah,
we haven't even gotten to yet with the whole.
I agree with Chris on that.
Pathing.
If object container streaming and network bind calling come in and works right out of the gate, which, come on, I mean, how often does
No,
that
I
kind of
ain't
thing
gonna-
happen?
Everything works right out of the
But
gate.
if it,
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking
if
about?
it came in and worked
Yeah.
right out of the gate, and they're like, "Whoa, this is great!" And they upped it to, they tested it out. Oh, here's 100 people.
Yeah.
Oops, still working. Here's 200 people. Oops, still working.
But
They'd probably
For
cap
me,
it out
this is so
somewhere,
important too, because this system needs to come in. It needs to work. It needs to be iterated on correctly, because I want the big ships. That's what I want. I'm not happy with the dogfight simulator. I don't want that. That's not why I've
No.
put money in the game. That's not why I've sit there and supported the game. I want that big multi-crew with
Gotta
my
get that
friends doing
bagel
the stuff.
carrier.
Yeah, or
Mhm.
even the Hammerheads, Polaris, I mean, all that stuff, to have multiple people that experience are running around the decks. That's what drew me to Star Citizen over EVE Online. Instead of being a single player in one ship, doing your own thing, and then working in tangent with a bunch of other people who are avatars of ships, I want the experience of, we're in it together, team. We're trying to get this ship going. We're trying to keep it alive. We're trying to dispose of other ships. And on top of that, coordinate with the fleet. And then an aspect of that, that's the encapsulation I want. That's my Russian nesting dolls of object container streaming, where it's like, you're one ship, part of a larger group, part of a whole empire, part of a whole division, and
Part
all
of
that
the
stuff.
ship, part of the crew.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's the experience I want, because in EVE, you don't get to see inside your damn ship. You don't get to,
Yep.
nobody cares. If you die in a fleet in EVE, it's like, oh, I'm out. Okay.
Well, bye.
Bye. Get the hell out of comms and quit bitching about it, and move on. It's like, it doesn't
Yep.
matter there. You don't
Yeah,
get the drama of that,
The
It's like,
thing about what I think so many people don't understand or don't get about Star Citizen is that you are the person that is inside of the suit of armor, the spacesuit, however you want to look at it. You are that person, and then everything out beyond that, your armor, the attachments on your armor, the weapons with their attachments, your ship with its personality inside the ship, the stuff that we're eventually going to get, like bobbleheads that we put on our, on the dashboard of the ship, or decorations, inside of the cockpit or whatever, where you got a little poster over here. The fuzzy dice.
yeah.
Whatever they're going to give us in terms of the personality of that, but then it builds out to the outside where you've given it your own paint job, and you go beyond that where you've got multiple ships in that sense, where everybody's working together on these bigger ships. You've got a ship with a crew of 5 or a crew of 6.
And hopefully they can decorate their rack in their ship, like if you
Yeah,
got 6 guys
right?
there, it's like, hey, part-time I serve on the SS Janeway or whatever the hell it's going to be, and then you have to you can have your little rack built out and all that
I'm
stuff.
gonna put up pictures of my girl on my
Yeah.
bunk.
There you go.
Have the skulls of your slain enemy.
Finger necklaces, you can
Macaroni necklaces your kids made
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But I like how he makes everything, he reiterates his vision of what Star Citizen looks like, and it just makes sense. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's really good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, even with all that, I would accept it if all we got was object container streaming and bind calling. I would accept it. I wouldn't be happy with just that though, because again, it's a long part away from that. But even just if we got the Hammerhead in, if we got that in the location of Hurston, I would be able to have something to make gameplay with.
Sure.
And I'd be fine with that at least. But I hope there's more. But if that's it, that's it. But you can't put the cart before the horse. You have to have the mechanics and the facilities in order to get those things into the game. And without object container streaming stuff,
you got to
you're not
remember that object container streaming, it's not like, I think a lot of people who complain about the stuff being pushed out, or they complain about certain aspects not being in the game yet, or they're not quite understanding what object container streaming or network bind calling is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, if you've ever studied anything about like the network stack, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like the lowest layers of the stack that have to be in there and working before you can get the TCP/IP, before you can get all of the higher layers of the stack. If the bottom parts of the stack aren't working, then nothing's going to work.
But to be fair, some of this stuff they might not care about. There are backers who have just backed the game, who've bought into this stuff, and they check in every couple months. They're not like us. They're not extremists where we play the game every day and do all this stuff. They're casuals. And it's much like me playing PUBG. If PUBG says, oh, man, we can't get that new map in because we have this big expansion, we got some mechanics we got to do. I'm like, cool, I'll check back in a few months. I don't give a shit. I don't care if it doesn't make that next level. They're not as in tune with it, and they're not as into it as we are. So we have to also accept the fact that some people come in there and they bitch about, oh, I just wanted to play some spaceships. They don't care why it's not there. They're not worried about, oh, you don't understand buying callings on. They don't give a shit. They just want to come in. They thought that they were going to have the dream of jumping into a bunch of spaceships, a bunch of people, and they just want it right now. And those people, you just have to kind of like tune out and say, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way, bro. And then move on, because you're not going to. One of the things I find a lot of citizens get frustrated with isn't the wait. A lot of the guys that are here every day in our chat, supporting us, supporting the game, supporting all those stuff, they're getting frustrated because they're dealing with those other people that are casuals and are people that are just here to play the game. And they're trying to do what you're doing, Uber, and I do, and everybody else, and explain, oh, you guys don't understand. It's buying calling. Those people don't want to hear that shit. Just say, oh, man, I'm sorry. If you want to find out why, you can do this. But otherwise, I'm not even going to argue with you. Don't waste your energy on people that don't care about that stuff, because they're not. They're the same way I am with PUBG. I'll play it when it's good and it's there. But otherwise, if PUBG died tomorrow, I'd be like, well, that kind of sucks, but whatever. That's not it, That's not the type of player they are with Star Citizen at this point. They don't care about the dev side of it. So it just brought
those bastards.
I know, but it brought that thought to my mind that, like, there's times I've talked to, like, a lot of people that are just kind of casually into the game and they just want to see it played and all that stuff. And those guys do get salty the same way. It's like, oh, Anthem got pushed. Damn, that sucks. And they're just bitching just because they're gamers and they just want the game. But they don't care about the hierarchy of stuff. And then when we talk to them like that, they look at us like we're elitist. And, I tell them I'm purely not an elitist after I get done adjusting my monocle. And I say that is not the case at all. And I understand your pain, but just come back and check in 6 months, bro. It's all good. Check in 6 months, and a whole bunch of stuff will be back in. So,
yeah.
Well, yes, I had someone come on my stream, I want to say last night, that was, they hadn't checked on the game since December, which obviously is pre 3.0.
Yeah.
And they're like, so what's new about the game? I haven't been on in a couple of months, whatever. I was like, well, when were you on? Were you on pre 3.0? Were you on post 3.0? Because post 3.0, there's a couple new things. Pre 3.0, it's a whole different fucking ball game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they explain to me, I haven't been on since like last August, and then I checked a couple months later in December, and it was the same thing. And I was like, oh, so you haven't played 3.0? Like, no, it was 2 point something. I was like, oh, well, it may be worth re-downloading. You might want to go check it out.
Absolutely. And we also have to accept the fact that the same people, after they get in and play a little bit and they land on some of the moons and they check out some stuff, that might not be the content they want. And they're like, I'm out. And I'm like, cool, bro. I'll check back with me in 6 months and we'll see where we're at.
Yep.
Because that's not what they want to do. There's some people whose whole vision is they want to be the explorer, or they want to be a scientist, or they want to be that stuff. Those elements of the game aren't going to be into maybe their aptitude of what they want for years.
Right. And well, I fall in that boat. I look forward to exploring big time. That's the main thing I want out of the game. That and space trucking. Right now, trucking sucks. So, I mean, I really want exploring, but I know as from the level that we all are, I know it's not going to be for a while. Right, because first of all, we don't have anything to explore yet.
Yep.
Right.
And there's no real economy to progress yourself, right? You can play around.
Exactly.
You can play around with the mechanics of it, but it's not relevant. It's like if you ground your ass off for the next 2 months before the next patch, and you sit there and got millions and millions of UEC, it's irrelevant because it'll be reset. So,
bingo.
That's why when people get mad at me, because I also have extreme backers that get mad at me because when I say, I call it, it's still kind of tech demo-y, but it's got some gameplay elements and stuff. They're like, oh, well, it's nowhere near that. I'm like, you have to understand the middle ground. And that's who I try to, reference to. So that way I can still inform the people that stop in, like what they did with you, Tickles, where they haven't been here in a few months. but also, you know, to have open discussion about the mechanics, because there's nothing to the game yet except mechanics. When we have more persistency where things we do in the game and it gets more toward a beta where it matters, then we'll worry about the day-to-day grind. Right now, it's just testing stuff.
I agree with what you just said there, and one thing that CR said today or whatever, you know, on the show, was that they're trying to move towards more persistency.
Yes,
even in the alpha.
Yes,
they're trying to not reset it nearly as much.
Yes,
and we saw that with the most recent patch that was put in.
That surprised me, actually. They said that because it was like they've always wanted to test the economy and do some different resets, and maybe part of the reason, and he alluded to this because the ships in game question came up again. He said part of the reason because of that is they're still tweaking things, and I think they really want to get the pricing as close as they can from the outset so they don't have to do as many resets.
Right.
You know, so I think that's a huge part of that, along with obviously the UI and all the other stuff. I mean, for God's sake, right now we can't even look at the 3D images of what we're buying for a cooler, a gun, or anything on the kiosk. And people,
right.
You know, and so we know they're not ready even on the kiosk interface to sell ships because you can't even see anything. It's like, I'll buy because if I'm doing the game, I'll buy a Hornet. What's a Hornet?
What's a Starfarer?
Is it a big ship? Is it a canoe? I mean, you know, you can't tell.
Get the paddles.
Yeah, you have no idea what it is. Because unless you're like, well, let me go down and do it. It's like, and then, you know, elitists like us come, well, you didn't do your research. You don't know what a fucking Starfarer is. You say you can play a game. It's like, no, dude, you want people to be able to come into the game, populate it, enjoy it, and kind of be able to fumble their way through it, you know?
Sure.
And it's not there where nobody can fumble their way through Star Citizen right now. You couldn't stumble on the game, buy a package, and just, well, I hope I don't have to talk to anybody and just figure it out on my own. It's not going to happen. You'd be lost.
Well, it's that way with. I had a longtime watcher, a viewer of mine today, who's like, all right, I just bought the game and I played in Arena Commander. And I was like, first of all, that's great that you went to Arena Commander first. I usually say that once a stream when someone's like, oh, well, the game, but I was like, learn to fly in Arena Commander.
Yep.
Better frames and there's no pressure whatsoever.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And he's like, man, it is a steep learning curve. He's like, I'd rather just watch you fly. I was like, well, it's a great place to learn, though.
It is.
It is a steep learning curve.
But you don't have to wait 5 minutes because you didn't know how to launch off the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
I have friends who don't ever want to fly, but they do want to partake in the universe itself. So they're waiting. Like they're willing to buy a package, but they don't want to actually have to fly ships themselves. They want to be science. They want to work the science.
Oh, he's ramping up.
Yep.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're back to normal. You're back to normal.
Am I back to normal? So they want to be able to work
up
the
is normal.
terminal. So they want to be able to work engineering. Or they want to be on the planet side or planet surface. They want to do anything but actually pilot a spaceship because they've never been good at flight sims. This is what they've told me. They like the idea of this universe and they like the idea of there being a lot of things for them to do, but they don't want to ever have to fly a spaceship. So they're waiting for that aspect to come into the game before they actually will play.
That is the boat that I am in. I've said it all along. I'm interested in medical gameplay. I want to be on board a ship, maybe doing stuff on ground occasionally. I don't want to be an effing pilot. That's not like, I'm not into that. You know, I'll do it because that's the mechanics that we have today. But long term, I'm more interested in what the other mechanics are. Flying is just like, okay, to get from point A to point B, maybe I get into the occasional combat, but that's not my role. Like, I don't want to be a fighter pilot. No interest in it.
I have zero interest in dogfighting at all. Like,
me too. Pretty much. Like,
I do it because it's there, and you know, I want to be familiar with everything. I don't want to be like, oh, which hand's the stick go on? But whenever somebody comes up and they're like, oh, Matachi, I'm gonna blow you out of the sky because I'm a badass dog. But I'm like, yeah, that's great. I suck at it because I don't.
Yeah, you probably will.
You probably will at any day of the week.
Congratulations, you did that.
It's awesome. I just
like I was messing around with Aux or Axis. Most of you know him as Axis Raid. I call him Aux because when someone comes into my channel and I call them by a name, that's their name forever. I don't care if I see it
Same
wrong.
here. There's probably 100 people here. I'm mispronouncing their handle for like a year and a half.
And so he was just like flying circles around me, and I was legitimately trying to shoot him, and I couldn't hit him at all. And he was like, he'd like shoot once and hit me, and like I was like, oh man, he just knocked my shields out. He'd wait, and then my shields would come back up. He'd shoot me again. I was like, this dude's flying circles around me, literally.
Well,
like,
wait until, like CR said, they're gonna get rid of the 6G strafing crap. I was like, oh, that's gonna be interesting, because all the pods are like, oh great, real avionics, and then wait a minute, he's gonna take away the strafe. I'm like, rip joystick users with the whole like, I can strafe and you can never hit me again. Just going
the
around.
dual joystick users, yeah.
So I'm like,
that was me.
that'll be interesting.
Well, the thing is, strafing will still be around because we have space.
It'll
it's
be
gonna
there,
up, down, left, right, forward, backwards. But
he doesn't want you to be able to go like that super precision 6Gs, like whatever you want to do, any movement you want in space. He wants that drift a little bit. So
well, and honestly, it's realistic because I've said this before. It's if you're flying and all of a sudden you're like, all right, I want to turn in space. It's a long fucking process of turning around. It's not just like voom, 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 voom. You know.
Yep.
With the technology we have today, and that's, you can say yes, the game is 100 or 900 years in the future.
Yeah.
But we're basing it off of, he even went with today with like, we have an algorithm. We want to do this. We punch in. It tells us the thrust that we need to put into the computer and whatnot. They're basing it off of today's technology. That's what we have to work with. Yes, the game is 1,000 years in the future, 900 years in the future, whatever. Yeah. But we only have today's technology to work with.
Yep, absolutely. So I don't know. We'll see. The flight models is something we're going to have to constantly. They're constantly going to work with. We're constantly going to have to, get in there and play around with. It's just
I still say that that's something I'm very excited about. The flight model being something where, in atmosphere, being different than something in space. That there is faked aerodynamics. I don't want them to actually get at we're going to program in
put drag and lift in there,
fluid dynamics, but they are going to basically attach little vectors to each part of the ship and say, okay, this, because of its shape, will provide lift. They're not going to say, okay, we're going to vector and provide the total fluid dynamic, calculations for no, that's not going to ever happen. But what they are going to do is they're going to fake it, but they are going to put it into the game, which I like. They've always said that they're going to do that, though. They've always said that that's coming in. It's going to be faked because it's not going to be real aerodynamics. It's not going to be true physicalized physics, but it is going to be in the game. They're going to fake it. They're going to attach little vector points to each part of the ship, and they're going to say it either provides lift or it doesn't. And so that's going to help with when you're flying a Starfarer in space. You can be kind of careless if down and land, because you don't want to burn out your engines. You don't want to run out of fuel. I mean, you've got to get right down. So, am I muted?
No, I hear you.
What?
Nothing, what
were
happened?
you muted on stream? Did you mute him?
Just for a second, I muted Discord. It wasn't intentional, but I let it hang in there for just an extra minute. I was typing something, and then I hit the M hotkey, and then I noticed he was muted, and I was like, "Oh, well, it happens."
He knows.
Oops.
I was just typing. I was typing out.
Well said, Uber. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah, that was the best thing you've ever said in your life. And
no, and that's all I think about that.
And that's the last time he's going to talk politics on the show.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I want to get to a point of realism that we have to submit a weight balance and told before we can take off from a system. And I mean, how real do you want to make it?
I don't want it that real.
I mean,
if they make
you gotta calculate your fucking weight balance and told.
Yeah, if they make it, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want them to make it like Helion. I don't want to have to calculate orbits. I don't have to use a slide ruler to figure out my trajectory on taking off. I don't want to do that. Yeah,
because we can go play Kerbal and do all that. So
I've never played any of those games, so
They're
It
fun
is
for about
a
15,
pain.
20 hours, and after that, I was like, yeah, I get it.
well, it's like I said. I mean, people want like, oh, the level of realism, but
You do not want realism.
you get to a certain point of realism where you're like,
There's a reason why it takes SpaceX
bullshit.
3 to 6 months to plan a launch, and that's considered ridiculously quick. You know what I mean? It's not like, you don't want hyper realism like, oh, so you want to take off? Well, come back in a few weeks and we'll have a flight plan for you. And I'm like,
yeah,
no.
you got to submit a flight plan to the tower, and
Most of us, I would assume, want that intense reality of Firefly or something else. Like, you're either doing your daily job, or if something intense happens and you need to get out of there because you have NPC pirates attacking you or something else, you can like quickly try to select something and you can jump and do all this stuff. Like, no, now get out your Acubus and your slide rule and let's figure this out. I'm like, it's like, oh no, I mean, shut it. It's okay. Now you just have to take the hypotenuse of the triangle.
I don't know where we landed. Somebody get a sextant. Let's go.
Yeah. It's like, no way, man.
What the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
I have a feeling we're gonna get that though before we get my my fabled clock positions in the turrets.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm ready to like start getting markers out. Like, if we could get markers in game, like a Sharpie, I would draw on the canopy, like, this is 12,
Seriously.
and then I'll go to each gun and it'll be fully immersive, and I'll make little marks so we can make our own little marks for 12 o'clock and all that stuff. I mean,
they won't give us that, because then it'll be like, and here's the penis.
I know we would. The first thing, it's like,
we're right back. Full
all right, I
circle.
got targets at 1, 2, and penis.
Oh my god.
Now, speaking of which, Kaylee, question: could you guys get CR in here so he could hear what we have to say?
Yeah,
I know. I mean, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Get the community together speaking to him.
that's right.
This would be a great forum for it.
That's right.
Penises. Definitely.
Penises.
Yes. Yes.
Is he muted?
No, he's not muted again. It was a happy mistake.
Did you mute him again?
No, because I accidentally hit the M button on the stream machine and it muted the whole Discord. So you were all muted. He just happened to be giving the speech at the time.
He just had
Darn.
the floor.
Yeah.
Well, that's just terrible. In other words, and so on.
sauce.
It's a
Well
great
said,
Chinese
Uber.
movie.
Well said.
Craziness. I don't know.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm
CR is my spirit animal.
But I like how Chris always answers everything head on. He doesn't
Yeah.
really pussyfoot around anything. If somebody asks him a question, he attacks the question, he answers it, and then he expands upon it to like fully
He
cover
answers
it.
a question head on for 27 minutes.
Yeah, but he
Yes.
Chris Roberts answers
imagine
questions.
me interviewing Chris.
Chris
No.
Roberts answers questions like the United States bombs third world nations. He doesn't hit like one spot. He like says, well, just to make sure, he hits all the surrounding
all the
targets,
spots.
all the spots. So there's no way that you're
Chris
going to miss
Roberts
anything. also.
is the Moab of responses.
That's right. He is.
It's so
He is.
true.
He is. He's
But
like
I
this-
said this in my stream while we were watching this.
yeah.
I would much rather have an over explanation
Yes.
than a non-answer yes,
Yep.
no,
yeah.
like
carpet bombing
someone
answers.
someone who was annoyed to answer your questions,
Yep.
Right.
you know. So I would much rather have the talking me to an eye roll.
And to be
Rather
fair, we get
lack
that
of a-
sometimes on some of the dev answers, you know. Nothing against a specific devs, but we get sometimes you'll see them even on camera, like they kind of sigh or eye roll or something
Yeah.
like that. And they don't mean to. It's just because they're so
Don't you
beaten
think
down
it's
with everything.
kind of the way
Pappy.
that Jared
Mhm.
it maybe asks the questions, not necessarily the questions?
Well, I'll give Jared props too, though, man. Disco sits there and he tries to ask questions in the spirit of what we want, because sometimes a
He
question is
does
framed like this.
interpret the question,
Yes.
which is good.
Which is
I'm
good.
saying
And in the beginning, people would complain about, oh, he's twisting the question. No, he's trying to get you the answer you want, not the question that you ask, because otherwise a dev would, many cases, that's not familiar with answering questions, just be like, no, or yes, or
Yeah.
that's
Most
not
of
really
the time, if you look at the questions, if you go back into the into Spectrum, I almost said forums, God forbid. If you look back into Spectrum and look at the questions that were literally worded, and the way Jared words them,
Yeah.
they're usually different questions, but in a very good way.
Yes.
If the question that
you
had
get
been
more of an
worded
answer.
by the person was asked, it would not be a good answer. You know.
Yep.
He
Absolutely.
does a great job.
And it's just like
Hashtag
anything
raise
else.
for Jared.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about all that.
Wow.
I don't know about all that. We don't know what he
Chef
makes. He
Jared.
might be making more. He might be fine.
Oh, he makes more than me for sure because I
Well,
don't have a job.
Everybody makes more than me. Government pays more than I do. But that's a whole different story.
Jay Lee disagrees.
Daily disagrees.
Hashtag shark suit for Jared.
Yeah. Well, if he sold the shark suit, he'd probably make a few hundred,
He'd
if not
probably make some money.
$1,000 back right there, because that's not a cheap shark suit.
That's got a solid black 120 fan in it. I
No
mean,
doubt.
I know.
Shark suit.
Oh, but it's not the RGB
There,
120
no
fan.
It's not RGB.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't. You see the top of the shark suit blinking because they replaced it with an RGB fan. It's like,
That'd be hilarious.
it's like, what's going on with this shark?
That's
The
called,
eyes are just like
it's time.
changing.
No.
I'm waiting for Champion to jump in chat and be like, challenge
the house,
accepted.
that's the house shark.
I loved it all during when I was watching the stream and all that came up. All I did was link this inside the Star Citizen chat. Was like the whole time. So I had little
The chicken wing.
No, the whole CR with the shark.
Oh.
Love. I love Burke's emotes. He's got tons of sharks. It's perfect. I got to get me a shark emote now.
Mm-hmm.
I only have 3. I can't sacrifice any of mine.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, I don't know the processing time. That's one thing partners still hold on to is the fact we don't have processing time on our emotes.
Yeah, don't get too used to that. We'll take it eventually.
I'm sure you will. You've taken
No.
everything else. You've taken
Well, I was-
everything else.
I was
Jose!
honestly surprised. There's no processing time for the sub badges.
Yeah, you could throw penises right up there.
Yeah, but
Don't ask how I know.
dicks for everyone.
God dang.
I give
I was actually I was rather surprised. I put
I
the
was
stuff
very
in there and I
surprised.
was waiting for a you know, this will be approved whenever,
Yeah.
and nothing. It was instant. I
like,
was like,
no, you
I
had,
thought it was a glitch.
you
in
had
the system,
instant
honestly.
penis.
Instant penis.
Instant
Yep.
penis. It was perfect.
There's a lot of old people that would pay for that.
Yes,
Mm.
I'm sure there are.
You know.
All right. Well, we're almost to that part of the show where we stop talking about penises and start answering your questions.
Oh, no.
Oh, then I'm out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
So
I'm
They'll
done.
probably have a bunch of
Deuces, guys.
now.
if you have questions for the cast at all, please feel free to go ahead and put those in there. It's !questions. If they are questions about penises, we will not be answering them on this
Yeah,
podcast.
no.
So we're
I'll answer
skipping
them.
those. So make sure we don't have any of those.
I got this.
No, not on this show. You won't. There'll be a special after-hour show, and all Toy does is keep permitting fucking terms that I don't want in my chat. Like he's like, "Oh, penis, we're gonna allow that. We're gonna allow this, so that way Mitachi can get effing banned off Twitch every 5 seconds."
I'm gonna ban you for saying penis.
Oh my god, you don't know the context in which these guys will use penis all over my chat. It's bad.
Then we ban them.
Well, when I have a mod here, that'd be great.
We have a mod here.
Right now.
Well, right
Where?
now.
Right
I
now.
don't know. Phantom's in there somewhere.
Sometime, somewhere, it'll happen. Don't worry.
See, Jay Lee's got a sword.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
He's
Like
your
I
friends with
said,
swords.
like I said, I have friends with swords. I don't have mods. Oh my gosh. All right, let's pull up these questions. While we're doing that, why don't you guys tell us when we're going to find you next, what you have coming up special, and all that other stuff. We're going to start with Uber Nerd because I know he's got some cool stuff happening next week he wants to
Oh
talk about.
yeah. So, well, I am going to be streaming tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and so you guys that know that I stream in the morning, you can catch me then. And I'm going to be streaming again on Sunday, again on Monday. But on Tuesday, I will stream in the morning, but in the evening, 8 p.m., I'll be on the front page of Twitch, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time until 10 p.m. So 2 hours streaming on the front page of Twitch on Tuesday. So don't miss me.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Front page.
Front page.
Front page.
Front page.
For the next 5 weeks.
Make sure you send that medevac.
Oh yeah, it's right on
McLean.
top. Oh yeah, totally.
I already told him about that. I was like, make sure you promote the giveaway.
It's gonna be in the description of the stream.
It'll be.
We gotta distribute those followers.
Matter of fact, if you make it just like this the entire time, here, let me see if I can put it up there for right. This whole background will just be the Apollo the entire time.
I love it.
It'll be perfect.
There's actually no stream. It's just that.
Yeah,
picture.
it's just the image, and you hear noise
good.
effect there. Yeah, perfect. We'll just do that the whole time. Yep, perfect. All right,
Yeah,
so
that's not happening.
That's awesome though. Front page. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. So front page, 5 weeks in a row, starting on this next Tuesday. So
Nice.
absolutely.
Congrats.
yeah, we're gonna be doing a sub and follower drive, going crazy, and I'm gonna start off, and we'll be having some fun. It's gonna be, like I am a variety space streamer. Space. All right, so yeah, that's my space.
Oh Jesus.
Crazy.
Yeah. Don't forget the cringe.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Remember, if you got any other questions, you can put them in there, ! questions in chat, and get that going. If not, we're only going to have a few tonight, I think. That me. So we can get you guys out of here. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see who else is. Drones, when are you streaming?
Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, I think is going to be my next live stream.
Okay. Excellent. Should be good. Should be good. Mr. Toy, how about you?
I will be streaming tomorrow, and I'll also be on the captain's table tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Ooh, getting fancy.
Getting around.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. That'll be interesting. And then we're going to also have Mr. Tickles. When are you streaming next? When can people find you?
Tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern. I have, of course, Wifey Saturdays,
Mhm.
or they've come to be known Sassy Saturdays with iGo.
I like that better because you had Wifey Wednesdays, and then they kind of went to Wifey Fridays.
Well, no,
and
we've only ever had Wifey Saturdays.
I swear for a week I saw Wifey like every day.
She pops in occasionally. It depends on whether she's got makeup on or not that day.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes she's got makeup on and she decides to pop in.
There you go.
But the official day is Saturday. Sassy Saturdays.
That's good. I like
with
that.
with IGO Commando is her gamer tag. But yeah,
I can
Wifey
respect
Saturdays,
that.
and that's a big day for us. We have a good
Nice.
time on Saturday.
Right on, right on. All right, and other than that, guys, we're going to be trying to do the SpaceBro battles tomorrow at noon. So if you can, try to show up for that. Also, I'm happy to announce, if you didn't already know, we are not only partnered with our sponsor of Elite Energy on my channel, which I'm plugging there again, which you can get, which is 1337 Energy. You can get that with !1337 in chat. They're actually doing a buy one get one free sale right now. Pretty good stuff. We're also now partnered with Rend, so we're actually an official Rend partner. So we're probably going to be jumping a little bit more heavily into that, and we are going to do some giveaway codes for that this weekend too. So make sure you're doing that as well, and hopefully some of you guys will hop in with us and play, because I think I'm gonna do we're going to continue on the one content creator server thing, but I think we're going to end up seeing if we can get some bros together and go raid a fresh server as a group and try to compete against another community. I think that'd be fun. So yes, you can permit 0. I don't know what he's linking, but that's fun.
God, get ready.
Yeah, just make sure he hasn't drank a lot
We're
of
not ready.
bourbon or brandy. He doesn't really need a permit, though. He's a sub. If he's a sub, he's got it. There's nothing you can do worse than what a sub can do, I guess, at that point. Oh, let's see here. First question then. From Italian Bum. With the coding foundation CIG is creating, do you think Star Citizen could be, or the blueprint for, a fully immersive game on a level comparable to Ready Player One in 10 to 15 years?
Nerd. Oh.
What do you guys think? Who wants to address that one? What do you think with the amazing amount of code foundation CIG is creating and all the revolutionary things that end? Do you think they're creating the basis for a super world like seen in Ready Player One, where you could be fully immersed, live in there, breathe in there, do all your stuff in there, and just come out to poop, eat, and pay your taxes?
It's definitely got the size going for it.
Yep.
Sure.
And it's got the, how they said that they're working on the movements of the head, the placement of the eyes, so that when you move, it's not like, how they showed that in the past where the perspective from first person was always wrong for, in terms of where you really would be looking from, how you really would look. When you look down, they showed what it would look like if you really were that way. And so, yeah, I think that there are great possibilities for the future of this game, especially with the better and better VR.
I think that the tech that they are making, because like they've said, the engines that we have today are not made for anything on this scale. So I think what they're doing is groundbreaking, and it's going to lead to tech for new engines for much larger scale gameplay. And to that end, maybe, to answer the question directly, maybe, but I think we're 100 years away from Ready Player One type stuff.
Yeah. So I agree with that. I agree that we're probably 100+ years from being there. That said, I don't think we could ever get there without a project like this.
Yeah, I think we're probably more like 10 years out, maybe 15.
They are with Amazon, and I, from what I looked at in the movie, Amazon and the company that owned them was basically the same people. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. I feel like we have the tech today to almost make that. The problem is we don't have the social climate and situation like what was in that movie to create that, right? Nobody wanted to be outside because the world was a shithole. Basically, there was nothing left.
What do you mean we don't have that already?
Well, I went outside and played soccer with my kids today, so I'm just saying we're not quite in the aspect where we're so dependent upon the system. I know.
It was 80 here today with like 60% humidity, and I was loving it.
Yeah,
because that was nice and cool and low humidity for the summer.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think some of the aspects there, technologically, I believe they are breaking barriers. The farther they get, and a lot of what we see in 3.3 will determine if all these tools they create, all these things, are actually going to be just good for making nice, small, I say small, but they're massive, types of games like planets and all these other aspects, or is all these tools going to come to fruition and actually be able to create a roving universe. I think the tech behind their server meshing and object container streaming is more revolutionary than any of the other tools we've seen so far. Yeah, because if they do that, if you can stream with no loading screens in and out of massive servers with these massive landscapes and stuff like that, that is groundbreaking. That is something that other games don't even try to do because they're like, just make them watch an effing load screen. Who cares? To not break player immersion and make it all seamless like that will be so amazing. I think many companies will be hungry after it. The question is, will CIG share that type of stuff or even sell it yet? I wouldn't. Not until my game's out.
No.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, and that's again years away. So I think how long they keep proprietary information, how relevant it all comes together, how well it succeeds will determine how valuable these tools are and how much it will influence the gaming community. If it doesn't succeed and falls on their face, people are like, I ain't buying that shit. You know what I mean? Our companies are.
Yep.
But it's all how
you should look at that link Zero posted.
I don't know if I want to. It's scary.
You want to, trust me.
You don't want to look.
Oh, I've already seen it before.
Major Surge timed out for what?
I mean, that diet you've been on is working.
Yeah, apparently in that thing. I misclicked. Major got timed out because of misclick. Zero, you see what you made me do? He's okay.
You're looking good though. I got to give it to you.
I'll tell you what, I've never been that skinny. I don't even remember being that skinny. Like, I wasn't that skinny.
Dude, I wasn't that skinny in the military.
I wasn't that skinny when I played football. I wasn't that skinny when I played soccer for 5 years. I was never that skinny.
I was that skinny.
I was never that skinny.
See, I think
My
Mitch
freshman year, I
already-
weighed 235 pounds. So I wasn't ever that skinny.
I was until about 34, maybe 35.
I'm just not built that way.
It was all over. It started going downhill.
Not built
Keeping the
that
weight
way.
off was hard after that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah, that ain't happening. All right.
You're all
Foible
ready for this.
says,
Player
"What do you
one.
think about CR's suggestion? You wanted to answer player one thing? I thought you already said that you. All right, Toy. What do you say about player one?
No, never mind.
You've already
Move
taught.
on
You
to the next
answered.
question. Nope.
I watched you answer during
Just-
everybody else's answer. You're like, nope, don't agree with that. Yep, that's not happening. It's
You're
like
gonna-
I saw you
You're gonna
answer.
mute me anyway, so just
All right.
move on.
That's fine. That's fine. Toy doesn't get to answer this one at all. What do you think about CR's suggestion that they want players to change out of their suits when they're in a ship or base? Do you think it'll be too tedious?
I think it's tedious as fuck. I'm throwing it out there.
I think
I
if
want-
we have to do it involving a Mobi-Glass, it's going to be way too tedious. I think if it's where I can just walk up to like the Easy Hab type thing and just click a button and poof, I switch. Okay, maybe I could deal with that.
He
But
wants
if
you to
I
go to
gotta
your
open
coat
the
rack.
Mobi and like do a whole bunch of shit, fuck that.
He didn't want on your Mobi. He wants you to go to your coat rack. He wants you.
Yeah, you got to go to a locker.
or a
You got to
coat rack.
deposit your guns in your gun racks. You got to. I mean, Jesus.
He literally said he does not want the secret inventory that you have right now. He doesn't want you to magically have 50 spacesuits in your Mobi Glass.
Yeah, I
You-
agree with that.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
I mean, as convenient as having 50 spacesuits in your Mobi Glass is, I think that's
It is pretty convenient.
it's I want to see it where
I
you
think-
have to make I want there to be decisions that you say, okay, I'm going to take these with me on this trip. I'm going to take these weapons. I'm going to take this ammo. I'm going to have to make decisions.
I
can't
want
just
that
take it
too.
all.
But I also think those decisions are going to make me want to bear those penalties, and I'll just wear my fucking spacesuit all the time. Because,
Yeah, I don't.
yeah, all those penalties he talks about, like you won't be able to really do this or that, well, that's great. I'll have somebody else do those jobs because I want to be ready for what I want. I don't want to sit there and go, oh, well, I've put on my bunny slippers. I sleep better tonight, and I can go operate the soda machine if I'm not wearing my gloves. I'll be like, I just want to have fucking soda.
Right. So you're getting attacked in your ship.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have a warning up on your
Yep.
screen.
Once you have to run back
hey,
and
we
go
have a
get your
hole break.
spacesuit on.
Oh well, let me run back to my fucking locker. Okay, and I get this is real life, right? Like real life emulation.
Yep.
Well, okay, but at the same time, if I'm in a risky ass place in real life, if when you're re-entering the Earth's atmosphere in the space shuttle, in which I know that's retired, but you have your full fucking suit on. Why? Because it's risky.
No,
If
no,
you
they
have
didn't.
something,
they only had those orange suits on, which are not the full suit. Like, okay, imagine
well,
them
not
having
having
to-
They
spacewalking
do.
suit.
They have a
yeah,
flight
yeah,
suit.
no.
though.
So
They do.
that's the
Yeah.
difference. I think he's not going to stop you from having those undersuits.
He doesn't
but the
want you
armor
wearing
pieces-
full armor though,
Yeah.
heavy armor.
They don't
while
want you
you're
wearing
driving.
full armor. So
Well, I
I'm
get
all
that.
for having that there and also having a helmet like nearby. So you look down, when you take the helmet off, it's sitting right there. So all you have to do, like, you point and click, turn off your engines. All you have to do is like click, boom, it's on. You're done. You don't have to worry about that. You're not going to be wearing your armor.
well,
but
he
the
said he
helmet's on.
doesn't want you wearing your EVA suit.
That's not so. That's going away, right? So the undersuit, if it's just the undersuit you're wearing, you're not going to be able to power through EVA. They're taking that away. That was something that was not supposed to be there. It was a bug they kind of left in. So the undersuit that we put on, you know, all the they have no EVA capabilities. You have to put other things on to get that EVA capability. At least that's what I understood. So
why is he super quiet? I didn't do nothing this time.
I don't know why I'm super quiet.
His volume is on a roller coaster.
I have no idea.
It
I am
really
not
is.
doing anything with this.
Nah.
So,
Either way, the pilots on an aircraft carrier don't sit there with their helmets on when they're not flying. You know what I
Well,
mean?
pilots in an aircraft carrier are also not out of Earth's atmosphere.
No, but if if the ship is in a
Touche.
fight, they're not sitting there with their full gear on, ready. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing,
yes,
though.
but at the same time, you're not in a fucking tin can in outer space where someone can shoot at you and breach your hull.
Yeah. I think there's got to be a happy medium. I hope they allow flight suits and light armors to still pilot heavy, like the heavy bulky, like if I'm wearing all heavy gear, yeah, I'm not going to be the pilot. I shouldn't fit in the seat and be able to pilot my Gladius if I'm wearing full Space Marine size gear with chainsaws and huge blasters and all that stuff. I get that.
Thing, you shouldn't be able to be wearing guns.
Yeah, on
you
your
should
back,
not
it
be
doesn't
able
make
to-
sense. But the guy gives you somewhere to
But a sidearm, sure.
But even pilots had
I think you
places
should
to
get
store guns in their ship.
But
We
we
just
saw-
don't have
Yeah.
that right now.
We saw the guy carrying the locker earlier on the video.
He was
That
had
big
the
ass
desk,
Yeah.
his desk full
Yeah.
of full of
Yeah.
equipment.
Put one of those on the bridge and put your shit in it, and there you go.
Well,
Right
and that's what I'm saying. I think like it's going to be more involved. Say you're on an Idris or something like that. If you know you're going to battle or if you're in a dangerous area, you're going to want guys, okay, battle stations. Those guys are going to gear slightly different. You're going to have your Marines kind of on standby in their suits waiting around just in case. And you're going to have your flight crews going to have their helmets near them in case there's a breach or something happens. But yeah, I don't think pilots should be able to wear full heavy gear because what we always have done in Korea and everywhere else is like we come in, jump out of our Hornet, flying into the side of the space station, eject from it. We're in full heavy gear and we're coming in there to be the one-man army. I agree that shouldn't be the way it works. So I like a lot more strategic planning with it. But
Well, if you look at the EVA suit right now, they're just a basic ass suit that you wake up with in game. Has nothing. It's skin tight. Why would you be able to sit in a pilot seat with that on?
Well, that shouldn't.
It's
but
not going to be an
according
EVA
to what
suit
they've
anymore,
said, is
though.
it's not going to be an EVA suit anymore. You have to attach things to it.
Like you'll have to wear like some sort of harness or something on top of that. to
Right.
do it. And when they do that, yeah, you would be able to still wear that flight suit.
Isn't
for
the,
piloting, but
Isn't the term, I think, IVA suit the one that you... So an IVA suit's supposed to be like the intra-vehicle suit. So like you're not leaving the vehicle, but it is a suit you wear to protect you from like basic pressure change.
Well, that would make sense.
Standard.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
That's the standard flight suit that you see, like, you know, when they're boarding the shuttle or when they did board the shuttle. You know, they're not necessarily wearing a full space suit.
Yeah.
It's just to protect you from if you have a breach in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I'm totally fine with, because you
But they
need that
want-
protection.
They want to
Yeah.
prevent people from just walking around in full-on armor all the time, never having any penalty for that.
Well, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that. But like the way he was saying is I mean, and I may have taken it the wrong way. I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I took it was, he's like, he doesn't even want you in your IVA suit or whatever you just said. You know,
Yeah, he wanted you in plain clothes, like bridge officer
get in your
gear.
plain clothes, put on your fucking gym shorts and, you know, and your t-shirt.
Hey,
Walk around your
that's
star
what I'm
eye.
wearing now. That's how I stream.
Me too.
That's how I stream. No, but you
But I'm
know,
also
I
not outside of Earth's atmosphere. So.
I also don't agree that they'll ever make it like the flight suit not EVA because I think people would get pissed. I think they will.
I do have my flight helmet here
Oh,
right
there
next
you
to
go.
me, though.
There you
See?
go. So
Nice.
you're ready.
Oh.
So you're ready.
Yeah.
But like just like Matt Damon did on The Martian, I think like with a flight suit, you could just punch a hole in the glove and you could kind of steer yourself whenever you get, you know, it's like.
I want
it's
to play
like-
real life Iron Man.
Yeah, so that way you could like do that stuff. I think
You have to
that'll work.
science the shit out of it.
Yeah, you just gotta science the shit out of it. All right. Yeah, so I think majority of us were kind of split on whether we think it's tedious or not. I like the immersion of needing to use these other elements. We hopefully find a way to implement that where it's not a pain in the ass.
Well, how are you going to use your FOIP without taking off your helmet?
I can talk and mouth it out without you see. Like, we got glass, man.
What I think that Chris was really saying is that what he doesn't want is people walking around city streets in full spacesuit.
Yeah.
And
I don't
think that
know an
there should be
MMO where that doesn't happen though. Like everybody's like,
but
you go
I
in
think
the
that
bar
they
and
can
one
make
guy's
it
wearing
not
like full
happen by
armor.
making it illegal. Say, hey,
Well,
you got to take that off, or you ain't coming in the city.
They
Try to
don't
come
need to
in,
make it
we'll
illegal.
shoot you.
I think
They
that
could
Well,
just
that infringes on my space rights, and
Yeah.
I refuse.
Oh God. There we
Yeah.
go.
It's an empire.
They could
I don't
use
care.
some assumption for that, where some people just say, "Sorry, you're not allowed to wear that in the store."
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that the NPCs
No
would
shirt,
come up
no
to you and say,
suit,
"Yeah, you
no
can't do
service,
that. We're not,
no battle armor.
No, yeah.
no weapons, no battle
Wow.
armor. You know, you got to get changed, or you're not coming in here."
I mean, they don't.
Which
let
I'm
people
totally fine with,
carrying
right?
Weapons walking
Yeah.
the banks, do they?
If you're planet side, yeah, I mean, I don't see it as a requirement though. Let's say you do have your heavy armor on. Well, you know what? You're just no one's going to serve you.
Or it's
no,
a
you'll
penalty.
get shot. You'll get killed.
Well, that won't work out for them if I'm wearing heavy armor very well. 'Cause there's gonna be a lot of
kidding.
NPCs
Down with
going
it.
down with me, brother.
Remember, once we get permadeath in the game, we've got the, you know, and getting killed actually becomes serious. People will
Yep.
go, "Oh, you mean that's the law? Okay, I'll go change," because they don't want to lose that life for just trying to. I want to wear my armor no matter what. You know, they're not gonna. Oh, okay, I'll change.
Yeah,
All right.
and Major Search brings up an interesting idea. He says, "Yeah, but if you're a bounty hunter, you don't want to walk unarmed to bring criminal in. But if it's a area where you can't be armed, the criminal's probably not armed either because you've both been scanned, or you have to sneak a
There you
weapon
go.
in. So it's
That's
all
right.
it's
Or
going to be
which-
those.
or
Which
maybe
they've
you-
said that you'll be able to do.
Yep.
Right.
Also,
you're
maybe
smart enough.
depending on who issued the bounty, maybe they give you a permit
Yeah.
to say, because you're on our turf looking for a bounty that we want brought in, we'll let you carry a weaponry.
Yeah, there could be permits and stuff.
There's
like
that too. But like they were saying,
Sure.
you'll probably have some aspect or some way to sneak weaponry into an area where weaponry is banned. And if you're smart enough to be able to do that, chances are that the guy you're hunting is probably smart enough too. So you'll still have a
Yep.
battle. You know, but,
Absolutely.
and
All
maybe
right.
they'll let the non-lethal weapons through.
Well,
Who knows?
and that's the other thing we haven't seen. Like, where
I got to
they're
wear
at
my
with that.
helmet for
Yeah.
the space pepper spray.
Yeah, don't.
You know?
I can't wait till I want to see the Mezzer shirt that says "Don't tase me, bro." So I want
Oh
that
my
one. So that
God.
would get not.
Bye, Jay Lee. I'll miss you forever.
Bye, Jaylee. We
Bye,
love you.
Jaylee. Next question from who farted in my spacesuit. With SC moving closer to selling ships in game, how are they going to make up for that revenue when the skins are already being sold and a huge
not.
chunk of Squadron 42 Part 1, not to mention CIG is still growing? So you're basically talking about the fact that you think they're going to lose a lot of revenue from...
I don't
Selling
think
ships.
they'll
I'll address
lose a lot
this.
of revenue.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tickles.
I don't think they're going to lose revenue at all because they're going to let you try spaceships basically, right? For once the game goes live, you won't be able to buy spaceships anymore with real money. It's not going to happen.
Supposedly.
They've already
We
said.
hope.
Well, I feel
We
like
hope.
they're going to stand behind that.
I do too. I think
not the current spaceships, but they said they will always be selling what do they call
Starter-
concepts.
New concepts.
concepts and
Yes.
starter packs.
Well, obviously starter packs.
Yeah.
But
Every
you're not
ship
just
has
gonna
a
be able
starter
to
pack
go
now.
on and be like, you know what, I want this ship. So boom. But for now, you'll be able to go, you know what, I'm going to buy this ship in game. And you play with it. You know what, I really want that ship when the game releases.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead and buy it right now so that I can sure I have it when the game releases. And I don't think it's going to cost them money at all. I think it's going to, I don't know
I
if
think it's
going
going
to
to increase
money.
activity.
But I guess it's going to
Yeah.
increase activity, which might increase ship sales. I don't
Javelin
think it's
starter
going to
pack.
impact ship sales at all.
I agree completely. I don't think that we're going to see any impact to ship sales. I mean, for one thing, every single time they do a patch, I think they're going to probably take those ships back to reset the economy so that they can keep testing it. And any ship that you've purchased with your real money doesn't get taken. So you get to, if you were like, I really like that ship. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna buy
it took me forever to get that cutlass. F it, I'll just buy it $100.
Yep, there you go. And so that's gonna it might even spur on more sales than there are right now, because
I think so.
Yeah. People will have been able to try out the ship and go, oh man, I really like that. Okay, I got to buy that.
Yep, I agree 100%. And I think with Chris already said most of their money comes from concept sales. This will not impact their concept sales at all.
Right.
Exactly. Concept sales and
because you can't buy the concept ship in the game.
That's right.
So
I think that's what you'll end up with. And I think actually when they start selling them in game, you'll see more skins, more other things start to come online that we've been wanting. So I think you'll see a lot more of that stuff start to get produced to buy for your ships. And
what I want them to, the most important thing about selling ships in game is getting subsumption working correctly with the schmarmy ship salesperson.
Hey, I promise this one over here, it was that was not broken before.
And I got a deal for you.
Slap ship.
Right. Yeah. This one's a great pup. Oh, that's not supposed to fall off here.
Slaps Aurora. Missile falls off rack.
Don't worry, that's covered by the warranty.
And don't worry, as far as them growing, they are a business, and they'll cut employees that they don't need anymore. I hate to say it that way, but they will. They're not going to just perpetually hire for roles they don't need. There's roles they do need, and there's people that will get phased out that they don't need. And as much as they're, a very loyal-based company with that stuff, if they don't need that person anymore, if that person's not willing to adjust to our team, or that person gets another opportunity, they are also on a regular basis losing people on a regular basis too. Just regular company turnover,
natural attrition.
Happens. Yeah, you're not coming in there. It's not the Yellowstone where you come in there and they're branded and they're like for life. It's like, oh, you are now permanently part of this clan, and you will no longer work for anyone but CIG. So,
fucking Christian in chat.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Oh man, Christian's crazy. I love it. Oh, let's see. Shy asks, he says, how happy were you when Chris said his pet peeve was people walking around in spacesuits and armor?
Didn't we just do this?
Yeah, we did.
We just did this.
But he was just asking that. It was like, yeah, I think we already did.
Chris is very RP and wants the immersion. That's your answer.
Yeah.
It's not immersion.
So that's what you're going to get.
So when someone from NASA comes back from space, they don't walk around in New York City in their fucking, spacewalk.
Yeah. He wants that level of stuff to make you feel like you want to be a regular person interacting. And then you also have other things.
That's why they put in the whole stamina thing, because they don't want people jumping around doing the bunny hop around you constantly. Dying.
Well, unfortunately, jumping around doesn't really impact your stamina that much, apparently. But running it does, but you have to jump like 20 or 30 times.
Because in the PU, if you jump in like medium armor, even just medium, like 6 times, you pass out.
But the thing is, with the bullet desync, you never have to jump 6 times in a row. You jump twice and it's over. But jumping twice 30 feet after running 20 feet and everything else, jumping should definitely impact you more, I think.
And it does impact. So,
but they're working on that for 3.3. I've already been assured that that stuff's happening. So we won't have as much of that anymore. But yeah, the whole answer to that is I think it's the good aspect. The best part of that whole armor stuff that I see is the fact, yes, I don't want you to have a bottomless inventory. I want you to be responsible and make positive decisions about what you want to transport, whether it's your suits, guns, cargo, ammo, whatever for your ship. Those things have to matter because transport has to matter in the game. If transport doesn't matter in the game, it's basically going to make everything useless. Everybody's just going to fly their own shit around. and there is no relative way to blockade people. There's no
You gotta
value.
walk out of your office with your desk.
Yeah, there's no value in like having a truck driver. There's no value in transport at all, and that makes the universe so much smaller when you don't have value in transport. You have to have value in transport, and you have to be able to make things go around. That's just the way it works.
Spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets are important. Guns of Glue asks, do you think there will be Kevlar wear, casual wear, for those of us who may be assassinated in a bar?
No.
Sure,
Maybe.
why not? It doesn't mean you won't get assassinated in a bar just because they got Kevlar on. I'll tell you that.
True.
Unless you're wearing your Kevlar ski mask too, I guess. I don't know. And then they probably wouldn't serve you again. It's like
well, even then the blunt force trauma to the head would
usually
probably kill you alone.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times Chris has to reiterate this, is even if they get 10,000 people in, there's going to be freaking 10 times as many NPCs.
90,000 NPCs. You're going to have to deal with the NPCs way more than you are people.
Yeah.
I think people just picture everything like World of Warcraft, though, like a bunch of players hanging out in crazy amounts of gear, just standing in front of like, trade hubs and stuff, and there's no NPCs around. I think it's going to be, you're going to see, unless you're with your friends or your org or all that stuff, if you're playing by yourself, you're going to just see seas of NPCs in these trade areas. And it's going to be just you and maybe one or two other players. And only if somebody's acting goofy, jumping around, are you really going to be like, oh, that's a player.
Yeah, you won't be able to tell if they're players
if
unless
they're just walking, chilling. No.
They've already said that the little, the little indicators above their heads with their names and stuff only show up to people who are in your group.
Yep.
If they're not in your group, you could easily blend in. With
scroll mouse wheel down. We were doing it the other day. Scroll mouse wheel down and just walk casual. I mean, realistically, unless you're acting erratically, and there's going to be aspects of the game where you want to blend in,
Yeah. You don't want to be recognized by other players as a player, so you want to blend in. That's why one of the things
you're acting erratically.
Christian CIG, make sure that everybody knows we want a AFK idle animation like the NPCs that stand around and lean up against something and then they move over here. I just want to be able to type in AFK and then my character starts doing those idle animations. Just the same ones that the NPCs do right now. That would be awesome.
Nikki's like, dude, I just do Star Marine. What are you talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki,
we just
take
want
notes.
the idle animations. That's it.
Give me an idle animation of Star Marine.
The visual of squatting yourself unconscious is just like I don't know. Sounds like a
squatted yourself unconscious.
It sounds like a bathroom issue.
Look, don't judge me this one time, okay?
Nah, see,
that's all it takes.
Still listen to me.
Oh my gosh! All right, next question. From Veclor says, "Do you think multi-boxing will be a thing in SC? What game mechanic would you like to see that would eliminate the need for multi-boxing?
How would you do it?
That would be very complicated.
There's only one way right now to multi-box in SC, and it is not occupational. It is basically for spying. Like if I log on multiple machines with multiple clients, so I can sit inside your freighter as a passenger, or I can sit over there, I can run multiple machines, but it's going to be limited how many computers you have. Right now, you're bitching about 30 frames a second. I wait till you try to log on multiple clients with like a VM emulator or something like, I'll just boot up 6 clients of Star Citizen. Yeah, right. And watch your computer melt.
Not only that though, but how would you fly? There's a difference between slaving your 4 other characters to your main guy that you like, like they used to do in WoW. Because I can. The shaman was the big one.
Yeah.
First of all. You can destroy them in 4 or 5 hits with all your shamans. Well, now you can't just like fly all of your fucking ships around and slave them to your control. It's not.
You could multi-box as a regular player on the ground. You can't. Again, I don't think you can do any occupation. They've built purposely things like mining and everything, so that way it doesn't. I got like a mosquito flying around here. Yeah, so that way.
Dude, I've got gnats, like little fucking fruit flies.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy.
BRB.
But the whole thing is they've built the systems and all the mini games so you cannot multi-box, or they're going to make it so difficult that the one guy's like, oh, they said I couldn't do it. Watch me do it. it's going to be so impractical that it doesn't give you any advantage at all.
Yeah. Multi-boxing is one of those things that when you can AFK mine,
Yeah.
that's easy to multi-box because you could just get that character, get that ship AFK mining. But this one over here, AFK doing whatever that one does. You know, I mean, you can have your keyboards here, screen, 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 and everything's set to hotkeys. This is a pattern of hotkeys here. And you just do the pattern, do the pattern, do the pattern. And that's simple. But Star Citizen is all skill-based. It is not hotkey spamming based, right? It's not those are games. What we're talking about when we're talking about multi-boxing is in those games.
EVE Online.
In those games, your character or your ship has the skills, not you. Right? That's why you can AFK mine, or that's why you can sit there and just spam that, like you could be out there in World of Warcraft or even EverQuest. Just have the hotkeys all set up just the way you want.
Even in EVE, you could just target a ship.
Well, like mining on EVE was the biggest thing. I could run 9 clients for EVE and just have them all sit there in the belt and eject a can once in a while.
Sure.
It's not even macroing, just like literally running all those clients because it didn't take that much human interface. And matter of fact, EVE Online was boring as shit to play unless you were in like some extreme combat situation with one client. I don't know anybody who didn't run more than one client in there because you just had to keep the game entertaining. It was just part of the game when you're doing industry. So this game is not EVE. It has a lot of the best aspects of EVE in it, and I love that.
In space,
but it makes you be the person. It makes you actually interface with the client. It makes you engaged. And if EVE would have had that, those people wouldn't have run all those extra clients. They would have had the one single player engagement. But that's not what it was. They kind of built their whole thing around everybody has 12 characters they're playing at once, and that's how they made money. So everybody says that, Italian Bomb. EVE Online Excel spreadsheets with graphics. I have more spreadsheets right now for Star Citizen than I ever had for EVE. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to, anybody that min-maxes uses spreadsheets in any game. That's just how it's going to be. So this game will also get that reputation of Excel spreadsheets. It will.
I refuse to do spreadsheets. That'll be a job. I will pay someone.
I'm on a spreadsheet right now answering your questions. As a matter of fact, it's like this is literally.
I will gladly pay someone to do spreadsheets.
Like, look, you guys say no spreadsheets for this, and I'm like literally right here on my screen. This is a spreadsheet that I'm doing the damn show with. So I'm just saying.
I love it.
Done. So just be aware.
Yeah.
We already use spreadsheets.
That was 3 different voices in one, by the way.
Yeah, it was like possessed or something.
What?
Now my whole
No, you went from like the weird voice, and it was a spectrum all the way to the deep voice right in the mic.
Yeah, I have a face made for radio.
There you go. Major Surge asks, he says, oh, wait, Vekler has a second question. It says, what additional physicalized object sound effects would you like to hear in Star Citizen? For example, a rock scraping the hole sounds different from the inside versus the outside in atmosphere or a vacuum. Yes, I like sounds.
All the things.
The guns sound the same in a vacuum as they do in atmosphere. That bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I like the idea that the guns will be more of a chest, but you wouldn't really hear it. You just kind of, it would reverberate.
Yeah, you would feel it. Yeah,
but it would make it more like a feeling. I mean, I know they'd have it'd just be really.
But the explosions need to be there because I want the explosions.
Well, those explosions can be there. That's like
but they'd be quiet. They wouldn't be like.
No, I'd like the explosion to pop and not hear anything, and all of a sudden,
I want to hear it.
Boom. No, I want that to be like the shockwave has to, the particles have to.
Drones is sitting there. He looks like he's about to like take over the world. He's just sitting there. Like,
I'm literally waiting for drones to go $1 billion.
Dude, I'm looking over here. I'm like, this dude is like looking sinister. Like,
yeah.
I always look sinister.
I want sounds in
I'd
space.
I'd like to see these big, huge ships. Like, if you don't have full crews on them, like, have random sounds come out once in a while. Like, you'll hear somebody scream, or you'll hear some moaning in a corridor.
Fucking Event Horizon and shit going on.
Hey, now, do you guys remember? This was about 2 years back, and they were testing out explosions and then flying through the debris. Do you remember the sound effects from that?
Yeah, the
Yes.
ship hitting the stuff.
Yeah,
The
shit
clink,
the
clink,
debris.
clink
It's like-
thing. Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
be the explosion, and then all of a sudden you'd fly through the debris, and it'd be like, it'd be this like it'd sound like hail
Yep.
on your ship. I would
I
like
do
to.
remember
I would
that.
rather like to see something like that. You see this giant explosion in space, and you're like, holy smokes! And all of a sudden you start hearing this little things hit your ship, and then they get bigger and bigger, and you're like, oh geez, there's gonna be big debris coming, and all of a sudden you hear a bwomp, and it's like hull breach. I mean, I'd love to have that be a part of it. And then
Sure.
in atmosphere, of course, the sounds of explosions and all that stuff would be. I mean, I'd like to have a dial maybe that they could give us too. That would you could.
Well, you know, they've said back and forth, like a lot of the sounds are simulated in your helmet to make you situationally
That's
aware
true.
in there. So I don't know what the happy medium is, because like if you have to pilot and say you have to take your helmet off, does that mean you no longer have simulated sounds?
Well, what if they did?
Hmm.
You know, remember how they had the old avionics computer? What if it gets damaged? All those sounds go away. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, 2 more questions. Major Surge asks, what's the best grenader in the SpaceBro team?
What's the
Duh.
what?
Duh.
Grenader
You need
or
to-
Grenadier.
I think
would
we'd have
be,
to. Me and
Here.
Drones would have to have a challenge now. One day I would say
what do you mean,
Drones.
you and him. I murdered you guys so much last night. with your
Whatever.
We'd have to make a spreadsheet, Toy. I don't think you've murdered me
Spreadsheet.
nearly as much
Oh,
as
I'll
what
throw a
I've
stretchy
ever killed.
grenade.
I
All
could,
right,
literally,
that's
I
it.
could. Let me put it this way:
you
I
were
could
so
literally
worried last night
spawn.
about Major
I could.
Surge.
I could literally spawn in a game against Toy Grubbin of Star Marine for a month straight and not move and let him kill me, and I would have more kills on Toy than what he has on me.
That was true up until this latest patch.
Yeah,
But
you got a lot of ground to
she
make
was
up.
so worried about Major Surge last night, and I'm like, don't worry about that guy. We won.
Okay, I'm just
every
gonna
single
throw
map
this out there.
against Major Surge, every single one.
We've played
I
a
love
game
it.
before,
I-
which none of you were in on, but we might have a Space Bros version of this that sounds interesting, where you sit in the back of a Starfarer, and it would be all of us in one corner of the major cargo area, and you throw it's a grenade off. So you get 3 grenades, no healing pins, and last man standing wins. And if the grenades don't kill, if you have multiple people still standing, it's melee only.
Nice. So, to answer the original question, I would just like to throw out that there's only one SpaceBro that has been called out on a panel of CIG staff as a grenade problem.
I reiterate, you give up those titles whenever you don't play the game. of Star Marine.
Oh, well, when they break grenades, like
It's like, remember
crazy.
back in the day when I used to play Star Marine? I was the best there ever was. And then the next patch up.
We'll have to do
Ooh,
this
that's-
someday.
That's fine.
This sound
We'll make this a challenge one
Mhm.
day.
Yep. Mikhail asks,
Indeed,
he
Kara.
says, do you think they're going to sell a ship for $20 ever again, like the Aurora ES? No.
no
No.
prices are only going to go up.
Yeah, I
I
don't
I
ever
can't.
see
There's
that
no
going
other
back
small
down
ships
again.
like that.
Well, okay. During a sale, like during a special, maybe.
But sale doesn't mean sale for CIG.
But
Well,
during,
there's
during
two different-
a
there's two different
during a
sale.
special.
Special, okay. Okay, I'm with you.
I think that
Like when they lowered the prices of the game packages to 35 from 45.
maybe after after
Mm.
10 years where the game starts to decline and they have that half price sale, maybe you'll be able to.
Sure.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Well played.
Wow.
Not really, but well played.
Sam asks, do you think they will have land manipulation at some point? Actual digging mines down into mountains, not terraforming. They said no,
No.
but I always leave everything open to, oh, yeah, we said we wouldn't have planets that you go down on, too. And then one day somebody made those that happen, so you never know. But right now,
I
no.
think that
Well,
they
seeing as-
will, but not within the next 2 to 3 years.
Seeing as their planetary surfaces are literally paper thin,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Because if
They'd
you,
have
if
to-
you
They'd have to turn everything into voxels.
Yeah, they have to
and
voxelize
that's a lot.
entire planets, and I don't.
the whole North Pole thing at Daymar still exists, you can still get under the planet or under the moon at Daymar, and the planetary surface is just like a pixel thin. So I don't think digging is going to be a thing.
I don't think it
hope
will
at
be
some point
first,
they can
but it will
do something to stretch out that 1 pixel. So because and it's not just Star Citizen, every single game has that. You know what I mean? Where you
Right.
can sit, lean up against a wall and like tilt your head and peer through the walls or underneath the map or stuff like that. I really hate that.
Yeah, they need to add a layer to it, but it's also more resources that the game has to load and write and all that. So yeah, let's see if we can get
no.
let's
Answer
get
the
those.
question.
Yeah, let's get those 200 people in first before we worry about that. Next question is, which they keep getting added right now, but we'll go with it. There's only 2 more at the moment. Mikhail asks, he says, why do laser weapons have knockback like ballistic weapons? The only answer I can give you personally on that is because of the way that they're designed.
Yeah, don't.
Balancing.
Yeah.
That's your answer.
And
Balance.
if you notice, most of them have some sort of recoil mechanism in the way they're designed. You know what I mean? So they will have knockback if they have recoil. I mean, it doesn't matter how you load them or whatever. But they don't have as much. I will say they don't have as much as most ballistics. Like the same comparables don't always.
Well, the thing is, it's the direct answer is balance.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have any knockback on or any recoil, if you will, on laser weapons, everyone would run laser weapons.
Yeah, Bear says because they're not laser beams, they're laser cartridges or something like that. And that makes sense. I mean, yeah, because you're still loading rounds. You still have a magazine with the laser weapon, even if it's a battery of some sort. They're
not laser weapons, they're energy weapons. It's different.
It's true.
Right.
So
but the whole point is balance.
The laser.
I still want a laser beam I can
comes
just turn on though and just run around the hallway like in Doom and just fire
the mining beam. I want a mining beam
mining
weapon.
beam handheld.
That's
perfect.
a laser.
That'd be perfect.
The projectiles are basically, I think that they were saying, well, they're supposed to be like plasma charges. So it's a heavily charged, like that, and that's why they have a certain amount of shots per magazine. It's because they're plasma charges, and they're physicalized, and because physicalized plasma may not be as heavy as a bullet, and therefore it doesn't have as much of a kick to it, and therefore the recoil isn't as much. However, it still is physicalized. If it was a laser beam, you'd have no kick at all because it's just light.
Well, it's just light, yeah.
Yep.
So they're energy weapons. People think energy weapon. They think, oh, it's a laser. No, lasers not.
Because freaking lasers are awesome.
Well,
bro.
this is the point where you push up your glasses and you go, well, actually,
I know.
Well, actually, we're gonna move on to the last question. What about the size of the new Mustang Beta interior in the new pick? What do you guys think about it? From Agent 121370.
What was the new pick? Where was that at?
I don't remember this.
I don't remember the new pick.
It was basically they showed the interior during RTV, I think.
Oh, did they?
Was it the
so.
Mustang or the 300? I remember seeing.
I watched RTV. I did not see
Mustang
any interior
Beta.
pics.
Someone load it. Yeah.
Oh, dang it. Where is it?
Oh, it's in the studio report, they said.
Oh, is it studio report? Well,
I was the monthly update. I was looking and I didn't see an interior.
Well, Ox posted, damn it. Someone post it.
Yeah.
So we can go look at it and give you our opinion.
Yeah. I'm looking at the monthly. You mean the studio report?
Here
right?
we go.
The one just came out.
There's a link.
And now everyone go click.
That looks pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that.
I don't hate it.
People were mad about it. They said something about I don't know, something about a cuddle couch or anything. I'm very unfamiliar with this ship because I care nothing about the beta.
I don't give a shit about the Mustang, so
yeah, I like the outside.
Yeah,
of the
I
Mustang,
don't see a problem with it.
Yeah,
who cares? It's got a kitchen. For
no, there's
sake.
people having a controversy about it.
But there's only one internal picture. They don't know what the other couch. You know, it's like
I don't care. Here's the thing. All these ships
it has a toilet and a bed and a kitchen.
All these ships you're going to be on for unless your aspiration game is to stay in your starter ship forever. Most of these ships are going to be on for a very relatively short amount of time, and then you're going to move on to something bigger. Just
maybe.
The more important thing, scroll down and look at the Austin picture. That's sexy.
Yeah. Yep.
Scroll up, Mustang picture. Who cares?
Yep. That's kind of why I go. Okay, new last question. Do you ever think they're going to do a next greatest starship again? And is the last question of the night.
No, I don't think so, unfortunately.
No, I don't think so. And fortunately, because I think that was a waste of time.
I think it was a good way to engage the community. I think it was poorly executed, though, and what they wanted to do in the end.
Well, look at the ship that won. It's still, I mean, it's not flyable.
But they haven't made a priority. It would have been. They could have cranked that thing out if they wanted to.
Well, yeah, it's not in the story.
No,
right? It's not Squadron 42.
It's not a priority ship. It's not important right now to the relevancy of anything else. And they know it's going to be the same controversy like the Cutlass and everything else, where everybody's going to piss and moan about every dynamic aspect, whatever choices they make. So why mess with it right now? Because it's not important. Cutlass was way more important.
That's the sad thing about this community, though. I love this community to death, but this community bitches about everything.
Mm-hmm.
If
what about
you do
the Mustang
one thing,
beta?
if you do one thing, half the community bitches about it.
Yeah.
If you do that thing that half the community bitches about, the other half bitches about it.
So here's the thing: the community is so big. I mean, you're thinking that half the community is bitching, but it might only be a couple hundred people.
Or it could be 5 guys that are really
bitching.
But it's a very boisterous. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah.
It's the vocal minority. We always deal with the vocal minority of people. And
nerds are very opinionated.
Whoever can type the loudest usually is the one who's like, all like, oh my God, look at this.
Well, that's my whole point, though, is I love this community to death, and I love them for their veracity and their boisterousness and getting things done. But at the same time, sometimes when they get things done, it's wrong.
Yeah. Like
flipping the bottom conning turret. Wrong. It was horrible. The bottom conning turret was just fine. Yeah. They flipped it, and now the person sits upright and you can't see dick.
Yeah. So, that's what happens when you listen to Five Guys.
Wait, did they ever have the bottom conning turret where you were upside down in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the original bottom conning turret. And it was great. It was just opposite the top. You had a full motion of view. Now the bottom conning turret is you're sitting upright, and it's horrible. Why? Because the community was outspoken and said the bottom conning turret sucks. We want it flipped upright, and they did it, and now it sucks way worse. So sometimes the community is outspoken and it's great. Sometimes the community is outspoken and you get the bottom conning turret. So
that's what happens.
Yep.
It's there, which was really great whenever you're flying the what's the one we got recently, the Constellation with the radar on top.
The Aquila.
Yeah, the
Aquila.
So you might as well have no turret now because you got a bottom turret and a guy with a radar post up top. It's like, well, you ain't defending shit. Good luck. It's like,
yeah, the guy up top doesn't even have the radar.
No, he doesn't have shit. He's got 2 fans.
I will say though, with the most recent update, the other seats work now, so your engineers can actually adjust your shields.
Yeah,
that is new. And that is awesome.
Until you get 2 co-pilots like I did, they're fighting each other about adjusting the shields. And then it's like, well, now everybody wants to be the guy who's helping out the guy, and good luck. So you can't.
I have
you can't
not
win.
had that yet, but that's funny.
That's
I
the
didn't
next
think
thing.
about that.
One guy's like they're on the right, no, they're on the left, and your shields is like just like all recharging all the time, trying to.
They're
like,
all recharging,
yeah.
so they're never charged.
So you have no shields. You might as well have them off because it's like motherfuckers charging all over the place. Stuff. They're always trying to shift them. It's crazy sauce. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this show. We thank you all for being here. Don't forget, again, tomorrow noon, we are going to be doing the beautiful SpaceBro battles. If we don't get the number turnout, we might turn into something else. But as long as we can get at least 30 plus people there, we'll definitely do something fun. We'll have all
I mean, something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen for sure.
Oh yeah.
No matter what. But I'd like to see some increased numbers. And if you guys haven't signed up yet, please consider doing so if you think you'll be available. If you're not going to be available, don't sign up.
Post the link.
Yep. It's right there. It's !SBB. That will remain the link for the foreseeable future. All you have to do is sign up in that. I just delete it after each time we do it, and then you just re-sign up to next week so we know how many people we have. I think we are going to try to do something like a capture the flag or something like that. We're going to try to work in some vehicles and do some other things, like move some stuff around. So we're going to try to mix it up a little bit. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun. All right. Well, that's it. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you for showing up tonight and hanging out. And thank you for audience for going through all our debacle of me taking 40 minutes to get the show started. But we made it here. We're here, and it's all good. So until next Friday, when we do the show again, you guys all be safe, and we'll see you this weekend. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a great night. I love all your faces.
You guys are awesome.
Me out.
Space penises.
Thank you.
Space penises.
Awesome.
Space penises.
Space penis in flight. Do whoop.
Yep.
Afternoon delight.
Oh my gosh. I should pass it to somebody. Who should I pass it to?
Nicky Doo is online, and he's pretty cool. You would blow his fucking mind with this raid.
Let's see here.
G. Mitchell's on.
I mean, Paul's online, but Nicky Doo's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of
Dylan's online.
We're gonna give Nicky Do some love.
blow his
I
mind.
will agree. Guys, get all your beautiful raid emotes ready. We're going to go give them some love over there. And we'll see you next week. Go, Raiders, go. You'll never hear me say that again either because I'm a Chiefs fan.